Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and I'm joined, as always, by Matt.
Hey, what's up?
And Connor's here as well.
Yeah, that was not quite as underwhelming as usual.
I mean, it was still not as... It didn't have the same energy as Matt's introduction, but...
Yeah, but it wasn't as actively insulting.
I'll try for... Maybe I'm feeling... New Year's resolution, be nicer to Connor. See how long that lasts.
Yeah, but everyone knows New Year's resolutions don't last till the end of January.
We're 2 weeks in, you couldn't hold it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, by the time we get to the second comic, I'm sure I'll be riffing
that was like me, like, no more excessive sweets as I'm shoving another Rice Krispie treat into my mouth. Like, you know?
That sounds like Marvel saying no more mutants and then like having New Mutants like 10 minutes later.
No. I love that. I love they said no more mutants and then like 3 new X-Books launched. It's great.
It was no more mutants, and then Disney bought Fox, and they've got the X-Men rights back, so now all of a sudden there's going to be mutants everywhere.
That said, I'm reading the next book for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, same one I am.
I'm not mad. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, so, hey.
But did you enjoy Phoenix Resurrection #3, Matt?
So, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm liking what's going on.
I know, it's fun. No, I'm enjoying it.
That's not the one I've been reading, but
yeah.
Okay.
But I've also read the one you've been reading. You're catching up on all new Wolverine.
Yeah, I read about 10 issues earlier, because I was putting off reading Red.
Are you digging the second arc?
I'm into like the third or fourth arc now, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because you got the first arc,
oh,
the
right,
second
okay.
arc's the Civil War thing.
Wait, okay, I thought you meant 10 issues from the start. You meant 10 issues from where you were when you started today.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too.
I just finished like 15 or 16.
I really like the third arc, the where do you think she's killed it, like all these people? Is that one?
Yeah. That's the one I'm just getting to the end of.
Okay, right, okay. Yeah, I like that one. We talk about DC Comics though on this show. I love how we had that Marvel discussion.
Yeah, I'm not even sure we named the book on that one.
That was all New Wolverine, just for the record. It's just fun. It amuses me. I don't mind a little bit of casual Marvel talk now and then, but it's just kind of funny we did that before I even said we talk about DC Comics on the show.
We're getting it out of the way, so that, okay, that's it. We're done for a month.
And now it's done. Although I actually did read another Marvel book this week, but I'll tell about that in a minute. So, anyway, what is coming up on this week's show? Now, obviously, we have a bit of news this week. We have the charts. The top 10 is out, as well as some figures, so I can make them guess a little bit. But the books coming up in this week's show are Detective Comics 972, Action Comics 995, Wonder Woman 38, The Flash 38, Mr. Miracle #6, Supergirl 17, New Superman #19, Superwoman #18 came out. We've not spoken about that in a few months, but I did go back and read the last few issues because this is the final issue of the book, so I thought it was worth having a little discussion about it, even if it is just me telling them what happened. But and then also Connor is going to complete his monthly requirement of Connor's Corner by reading Red Hood and the Outlaws #14. And I never asked him before the show, so does Dexter Sawyer in the art for that?
It is not, no.
Oh god, the one week I didn't ask.
Yeah, it was Joe Bennett.
Joe Bennett, okay. Oh, I've hit caps lock by accident. This is all a disaster. Okay.
No one else can even see it. No one cares that caps lock's on.
But it annoys me. It annoys me so much into my soul.
Have you ever heard of people that type with cap locks on and then hit shift for everything else?
Oh, that's so weird. Oh.
It's so weird. It goes against everything I learned.
That's just wrong, but the one that bothers me as well is when people turn on caps lock for like one letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of just hold shift, don't press caps lock, press the key and then caps lock again. Just stop it.
The home key system has been used forever for a reason. You know the home row?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
I feel like the people who do that though are the same ones who type like this.
Yeah.
For the audio people, I'm using one finger in each hand slowly.
Yeah. Pick and pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the best typist. I still have to look down to type, but you know,
you got a reasonable rate. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm best with my thumbs though. Like,
what?
But I'm terrible at fat thumbing.
I think he means on a phone.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, I'm great.
I was trying. How do you use thumbs? I mean, obviously use it for the spacebar and stuff, but like.
Yeah. But yeah. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have seen some of my more embarrassing mess up on autocorrect. So.
Oh, there's been some fun ones. Yeah, some fun.
Yeah.
Fun ones.
Some deciphering.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's sometimes you won't even realise he's made a mistake, and we'll sit and be confused for like hours, and then finally say, "Matt, what the hell were you talking about?" He's like, "What do you mean? What was he talking about?" And then he'll go check what he said. He's like, "Oh, right, okay, that makes no sense. What's written there?" Yeah, that's the thing. And before we talk about DC stuff, I did read another Marvel book, which I think I'll briefly mention just for the giggles of it. So Avengers is having a 16-issue arc, right?
Is this the weekly one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's still the main Avengers book, but yeah, it's went weekly for these 16 issues, so it's going to be 4 months of just pumping them out, right? And it's 3 writers. Wade's one of them, I think.
Ewing, I think.
Ewing and Zub, what I say? Zeb? Zub?
Yeah, Zub.
Yeah, Zub.
Zub.
But so they're writing it, and it's called No Surrender. And you know what? Like, because they're kind of teasing this as the end of an era, and there's all these rumors of Aaron taking over Avengers soon. Like, I feel like that's probably going to build up to that. Like, this is all going to build up to the big changes. So I got curious. I thought, okay, I'll read it. Whatever issue it was, 675 or something like that. It's hard to remember the numbers when they're up that high, but
yeah.
So it's basically just a plot about how the Earth gets stolen by someone or something, and a lot of the heroes magically get put on pause. They're all kind of frozen still, but there's some that aren't frozen still, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. The real comment I want to make about this, though, is that it does that thing at the end of the book where you get a big sort of reveal of someone returning. I won't spoil who or anything like that, but there's a big splash page at the end of it. This character's appeared, and I'm like, who the hell is this?
Yeah, your comment on Facebook was like, why am I supposed to care about this person? And then I just took that as you going like, I don't know Marvel. I don't know who this person is. So I did some digging, and there's like, well, yeah, no one's supposed to know who this person is.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Yeah, it's intentionally a mystery who this person is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what would have helped so much is if another character on the page went, who's that? That'd have told me that, and I'd have been like, fine. Yeah. But no. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to know who this is. So I'm like, digging up the internet, like, okay, who is this person?
Yeah.
And
we're going back and forth talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm sharing Reddit links to things. It was a full conspiracy, like, for 10 minutes. It was great.
It didn't make me not want to read the next one, though. I'm still curious enough. I'll give it another try. We'll see how it goes. But
it would help if they made it clear that Legacy was a jump off. So they kept saying, like, Legacy's not Rebirth. Legacy's not Rebirth, right? But if different books are gonna pick up different threads from that one book, then it kind of was like Rebirth, right? Like.
Yes, but not as good.
Yeah, not in quality.
Of
but yeah.
course, I'm not talking quality, right? But I'm talking like as a story initiative. You know what I mean? And they kept fighting it. So when this picks up on a thread from that book that maybe people that don't normally read Marvel had read, it would have been nice that Legacy was like a branding, but it was just really a renumbering.
Which, to be fair,
know what I mean?
that this mystery character was briefly set up in that Legacy one-shot, which I never read. So,
right.
So,
and the only reason I knew about it is because of my deep dive onto Reddit to find out who this person was.
Yep.
So,
So yeah, I mean, the first one, it was just all a set-up issue. It was all the big action of, like, basically as the Earth gets moved, there's all these earthquakes and stuff, so all the heroes are flying around trying to save people and stop things. It's just an action issue. It was okay, it was fine. I'll see how it goes next issue. And go on. There's 2 Wasps running around, though. That's confusing me. I don't know. They've got the same last name, so I assume the other one is the daughter. But like I mean, who knows?
Oh, jeez.
Marvel knowledge not as strong as the DC knowledge. I'll make that clear.
Can't help you on that one.
But hey, so also I'll mention briefly. I won't talk about it this week. I'll maybe wait till next month and talk about the new issue. But I did catch up in Titans as well this week, just for the record. So I'll talk about that next time.
I caught up on that. I read the last arc of Hal Jordan, and got very confused by a wrestling joke that went on for about a page. And I was like, guys, what's this?
The only thing I want to say about Titans actually is that the newest issue, this week's issue, didn't have Brett Booth on art because he happened to be on another book that we are covering today. So more on that later. But I got excited for that Titans issue because I'm like, wait a minute, if he's on this book, then surely he's not done another book this week. And like, sure enough, Titans is someone else. This is such a nice surprise. But more on that when we get to it. So, to kick off the show properly, let's get to some charts and news. We have a couple of things to talk about. So I will do the charts first. Before I get to the top 10, the old market share. A good month for DC was December. because not only did it get the unit share like it did last month, it also got the dollar share this time. Dollar share for DC was 34.54%, and the unit share was 37.65%. So, I mean, the number itself doesn't matter that much. The point is that it beat Marvel in both categories. That's the point.
Well, and it's over a third, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's good.
Yeah, it's very good. And obviously, Marvel's 2 and Images 3 and IDW Dark Horse, and it's the exact order you expect after that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe you'd expect Dark Horse above IDW. I don't know, but it's not that.
Not with the bare minimum of things that they've been putting out. There's like 1 or 2 books a week at most.
Okay. A few years ago, you'd expected Dark Horse to be over IDW.
Well, I mean, as a joke, that's where their name came from. They were the Dark Horse compared to the big 2, and now I feel like with the Disney assuming all of their properties,
they just took Conan. They're probably already taking Alien, Predator, and
that's the thing. Conan is relevant to this show because it's actually got that Conan Wonder Woman book going on at the minute.
True.
So say goodbye to those crossovers.
Yeah. No, to be fair, when I say it's just they've just announced they're taking Conan. It doesn't actually go into effect until like January, I think, next year.
January,
but
same difference.
I feel like Dark Horse can seize what Image is doing and kind of become creator owned. I mean, you already have Brian Wood doing stuff over there, with Rebels and Briggs Land and Lemire with Black Hammer.
You got Lemire, you got Wood, and then you get Hellboy and the DRPD stuff. That's basically going to have to build their company on going forward.
And I think that's not a bad way to start off. Like, you can, refresh that way, and you don't have to rely on.
I mean,
and I feel like that's why IDW does so well, is because they have a lot of those co-branded properties. Yeah, the licenses.
They don't have many original content. Well, I mean, maybe they do, and I'm just completely blanking on it. But I
mean, Lock and Key's IDW, so that's original. Turtles, I mean, that wasn't originally them, but it was a comic first, so it's a murky one.
It's murky.
It's not licensed.
They kind of got it through that. But
but it's not like based or connected to something else. Like, it's doing its own.
Yeah.
And it's the original creators as well that are on it for the most part. So
but I mean, I think Transformers is them, isn't it? Like, that's a huge one for them.
Oh yeah, Transformers. They used to do, they do Sonic now, but it was used to be Archie, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They do Ghostbusters, I think.
They do Ghostbusters. I never read the actual Ghostbusters book, but the Ghostbusters Turtles crossover was a fun little read. They do Star Trek books and Doctor Who books. That's
they do, and they actually do the Dread books for the US as well.
Oh, cool.
Well, it's not just that they publish them though. They actually have their own original Dread series that they put out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was referring to. They have the Dread license.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. But all right, so top 10 though. Top 10 books. So first question I'll ask: how many in the top 10 do you think are DC?
7.
Matt?
6.
It's actually 5. It's a straight 50-50 split this month.
Cool.
So maybe that's interesting. What do you think is number 1?
Batman.
Doomsday Clock.
Corey gets a point. It's Doomsday Clock number 2. And I guess there was no lenticular this time because it's just one entry.
Yeah.
Well,
there's 2. Yeah. There's
two
no
covers,
but there's 2 different covers.
They count the variants as the same book. But yeah. So.
Yeah. I did see a tweet from Sean Murphy about Batman White Knight appearing. I think he said it was at number 6.
All right, yeah, you got that right.
But
Batman White Knight.
The thing that he was tweeting is, what a weird state of the industry where his book of on White Knight, this out of continuity, just strange little story is appearing above Spider-Man, and I went, it's like, well, yeah, that's because people are just bored of Slott.
Hey, there's other things that are more impressive that are above Spider-Man.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Because at least that's still mainly Batman. That's still Batman in the title, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves 3 DC books. Does it? Oh, no, sorry, there's 6 DC books. I'm talking complete crap.
So Matt got it right.
Oh,
Matt got it right.
Freaking nailed it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And
6.
for the
Sorry,
record,
6.
I don't look at this stuff before because numbers.
Oh no, yeah.
I don't either. I just happened to see a tweet. But,
I know, but I'm just saying the fact that I nailed it.
Peter messing up the lists. I think he has to take that list master credit out of his Twitter.
That wasn't messing up a list. That was messing up math. Messing up math. That was messing up English. That last one. Okay, so we've got 4 DC books left.
Right, two Batman issues.
4 and 5 are Batman 36 and 37. Quite correct.
So we got two to go.
Yep, 2 to go.
So what's the next popular?
I think one of them's Mr. Miracle.
Nope.
Okay. Metal.
There you go. Number 2 is Metal. Number 4. That is correct.
Yeah.
Which leaves.
Could it be the Metal tie-in Hawkman found?
That is correct. That is number 9. So a book titled Hawkman was above Spider-Man in the top 10. I know it's tied to an event. I know it's a Batman themed event, but still, Hawkman is above Spider-Man in this top 10.
Yeah, but Batman literally does not appear in that book.
No, he doesn't.
So,
no.
So yeah,
he's not in the title either.
That's true. It's not. There might be a bat logo behind the Metal logo. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
On the cover.
Well,
I feel like there might be like a sort of bat logo in there, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so hey, if they end up giving Lemire an ongoing Hawkman book, I'm game for it. I'll say that at the very least.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 1 is Doomsday Clock. Number 2 is Dark Knight's Metal. Number 4. Number 3 is Phoenix Resurrection. Number 1. Hey, we read that, Matt. So that's there.
Yeah.
Batman 36 and 37 at 4 and 5. Number 6 is White Knight. Number 3. 7 is Amazing Spider-Man / Venom Inc. Alpha issue 1. What a horrible title.
Sorry, that was one thing.
That was one thing.
Oh, good lord.
I'll repeat that just for the people in the back. Amazing Spider-Man / Venom Venom Inc. Alpha issue 1.
I don't get it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was $5 as well, for the record. Number 8 is Marvel 2-in-1 issue 1. That was it was just Johnny Storm and the Thing from the Fantastic Four. Hawkman found number 1 at number 9, and then number 10 is Amazing Spider-Man 792. So that's your top 10 for December. So there you go. That's it. Actually, graphic novels, I suppose. Top 10 graphic novels are there as well. I'll just briefly mention these. I'll make you guess, because obviously there's a bunch of...
Is Walking Dead back in it yet?
Is there any Walking Dead?
Is it for the Christmas purchases?
I mean, it's December. There is 0 Walking Dead on this top 10.
Shocked.
Yeah. What do we have? In terms of DC, I'll just go through them in order now. Number 1, Saga Volume 8. So Saga always does well in trade. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Number 2 is War, Jokes and Riddles. So that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Star Wars Volume 6 is number 3. Then 4 is Detective Comics Volume 4, Deus Ex Machina. So that's cool. Black Hammer Volume 2 is number 5. Justice League v Suicide Squad is number 6. That is not... well, actually, no, the trade might be new because it was a hardcover first. That might be a new trade.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, because it released that later. Number 7, because Matt, I can't speak today, because Matt bought 1 million copies by himself, is Shirtless Bear Fighter.
I did it. Guys, I'm gonna need some financial help, so I'm gonna start a GoFundMe.
Maybe you could just resell these copies of Shirtless Bear Fighter. Sign them from the bear.
I could, but then they wouldn't be mine. So conundrum.
Seriously, how many? Like, did you buy like 500 copies? Like what?
No, I'm telling you, it's a good book. Like, it's fun.
Anyway, number 8 is Deadly Class Volume 6. Number 9 is Venomverse. So keep that in mind. Venomverse is already out in trade, and they've got another Venom event starting to cross over, up in the top 10.
They really can't help themselves, can they?
Venom this, Venom that. Venom everything. And then number 10 is Rick and Morty Volume 6, which is doing very... Actually, Big Bang Comics on Twitter, the Irish comic shop, they put out they're really good on Twitter. If you're interested in what sells at comic shops, they always put out nice little best-of lists at the end of the week to say what sold the most. They're really interesting to follow if you want to check them out. But they did a top 100 graphic novel sales for the store for the whole of 2017. And, like... every volume of Rick and Morty was on that list. Like, Rick and Morty's, like...
one of them placed at number 1, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know what volume it was. It may have been, like, volume 2 or 3 or something like that. But, like, it's like, man, Rick and Morty's doing well in the comic shops. This is...
Yeah. It's interesting to see the trade market, how different it is. Like, I was... I think it was Kieran Gillen. I think it might have been his newsletter that I get emailed to me every so often. And he was talking about the new trade of Wicked and Divine is out this week, I think, or next week. And... he was talking about how the sales, just the immediate sales of it, are on par, like almost, within like a couple of hundred of the singles, both physically and digitally combined, of what they expect for a monthly sales is what they get in the first month of the trades, almost exactly. So their audience is split completely 50-50. It's crazy to think of it like that.
That's interesting, because I typically would think something like that would be higher than trade. From Image,
yeah.
Like one of those.
Yeah, but I think we're overlooking the digital sales, which we never see.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Because I'm all digital, but even I, for most Image books, tend to wait for trades, just because I feel like I'm keeping up to date in so many superhero books, especially when I'm dipping into a couple of Marvel as well on top of all my DC books. That it's just easier to wait for trades on the non-superhero stuff. But
and it rarely places overly highly in the the top lists that we get from Diamond.
Yeah.
So I assume it sells amazingly digitally. Just I have to, because I know it sells well in stores.
Well, yeah, let's assume it's a 50-50 split, which it probably isn't, but maybe it is. Maybe we're at a point where some books are 50-50 between digital and physical.
Maybe. I think there are certain books though, like that sort of book, where it will sell better digitally because it has a appeal to a market that often isn't in a comic store. For they're not necessarily going in.
Yeah.
No, they're not going in for superhero books. So they'll get a lot of these Image titles, but a lot of them will just get them digitally because it's like, okay, well, that's easier for them.
People like Matt scale them off for going out of the shop.
Don't you do it. And
He just stands there with these big shirts saying, "I hate hipsters," and he just stands at the door like a bouncer, stopping them from getting in.
I was refraining from using the word itself. But...
yeah. My shop owner told me to stop, but I told him he can't, so...
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I'm poking fun, but I love tons of Image books. Like I'm not.
So do I. But I'm also not here saying like superheroes are better, and if you don't think that, then
absolutely. Like what you like.
We could joke.
That said, if you're watching this show, then you probably like DC Comics. So
yeah, exactly.
But
I hate anybody that has that superiority complex when it comes to stuff that they like. It's just like, okay, there's room for everything, guys. Like. Let's stop.
I think ultimately anyone who says superhero comics are meaningless, because some people do, they'll be like, no, they don't count. If they can, read Mr. Miracle, just for example, because that's out here this week, and tell me that superhero comics are meaningless, I don't
it's full of shit,
understand these people.
I mean, that's a whole debate for its own discussion. I mean, we could talk about that for hours probably.
I'm sure we will at some point.
So yeah, so a bit of news before we move on to the books itself. So the news we have one little tidbit. Now, admittedly, it's worth mentioning DC themselves have not actually said this yet. They have not confirmed this. However, it was comicbook.com who have a very annoying anti-ad block thing going on.
Oh, they do, don't they?
It is the most annoying thing ever. And I don't mind turning the ad block off for websites if, obviously they have to make their money, that's how they function, blah, 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 blah. The problem with comicbook.com is when you turn off the ad block in comicbook.com is you get so many pop-up videos and shit playing all over the place. It is so infuriating. Like, don't make me feel bad for turning an ad block on if you're going to cover your website in auto-playing videos. Auto-playing videos are the plague of the internet. Anyway, rant over. Anyway, so comicbook.com. Apparently got the inside scoop that the first Bendis written DC book, this is not a big story because it is just like a backup, but it does kind of lead into what we're all thinking he's going to be doing when he does get a full book. He's going to be apparently doing a backup with Jim Lee on Action Comics 1000, which feels kind of a natural place to sort of slip him in for a little thing before he takes on something full time. I will say there is an element of like, man, he must have an ego on him now, because his first ever DC book, the first thing they hand him to write something for, Action Comics 1000, here you go.
I get it, but this is where there's going to be a lot of backups, I imagine.
Oh, so, yeah.
And also, I'm this is really bad, but I'm kind of hoping that, how, there's the rumors, he was taking Superman or Action Comics. There was a bit of unclear as to which. I really hope there was some mixed signals and it was just this, and it was like, and he's got something completely different lined up for
Connor, shut up.
Yeah,
don't put that out there.
2/3 of us are quite happy for him to take on a Superman book.
Yeah, I know. That said, it's DC in DC this weekend, so maybe we'll get some official confirmation.
Yeah, they could do. In fact, the next bit of news comes out of that, but we'll get to that in a second. Now we also have a story, obviously. Sorry,
I just want to touch on that real quick. Bendis and Lee on Superman. That blows my mind.
I want to touch on this real quick. It blows my mind. Right, I'm done.
You said it was quick.
No, I'm not even moving on from that. I was just going to say the other stories that are in it. We know there's one from Jurgens, obviously. There's one from Tamaki and Gleason. So they're both like Superman book writers, or all three. You know what I mean? Are coming together for stories. And I imagine there might be a few more. I see this being a $10 book that's about 100 pages or something like that.
Yeah,
well, we'll find out in a week or two.
Yep, that'll be in the April solicits. I did joke when I found out Lee was doing a story that they delayed Action Comics 1000, not for the reasons they said, but just because Lee was behind on his 10 pages.
Do you know, if we get them early on the Friday, like we often do, I imagine Action 1000 will be in the early bunch. We should have it for next week's episode.
I imagine, yeah, they'll do that at its own news story.
Yeah,
as a big sort of thing. They'll make a big announcement. I see that being a thing. In fact, they might not even have anything else new for April, just because they want that to have the complete spotlight.
Yeah, they might.
I can see that happening. So that was that. The other thing, of course, was the book that was announced out of DC and DC, which is going on right now. There's actually a live stream today with various panels on at different times. Focusing on various things. I saw some images from, I think it was I don't know what the name of it was, but it was like female creators that do DC Comics, and then a lot of the female cast members of the CW shows doing a panel and talking about stuff. There was lots of quotes about Wonder Woman hitting Twitter. Like they were all talking about how good the movie was at this panel. So they're doing a bunch of stuff like that. But the announcement is that John Ridley, who is the writer of 12 Years a Slave, is actually going to do a limited series for DC Comics. It's called The Other History of the DC Universe. And I'll read the thing, but the gist I'm getting from it is that it's going to be like major events in DC's past, like in canon, sort of through the lens of all these other characters, these diverse characters that maybe have a different perspective on it. But here's the official blurb. Dubbed The Other History of the DC Universe, this limited series will centre on heroes from various marginalised groups in the DCU. Be they racial minorities, members of the LGBT community, or even aliens. The main cast will include Green Lantern John Stewart, Extrano, Vixen, Supergirl, Katana, and Renee Matoya. Ridley's story will re-examine the key events from DC lore from the perspective of these characters and chronicle their respective struggles to embrace their true selves. So, and the only thing we know about it right now is that it's coming winter 2018. It doesn't list any artists, we don't know how many issues it will be, but cool all the same. Actually, that sounds like a really cool idea.
I could have sworn you said I could have sworn you started that description saying it was a 12-issue series.
I definitely did not. No, 12 Years a Slave.
Maybe that's where I'm
that's where you're getting 12 from.
Yeah. I'm just like, what? My mind is not working clearly.
Nah, no issue counting yet. But I think it's a pretty cool idea. I think this is a cool thing to do on its own. Obviously, you've got a good writer doing this, even if he's not typically someone who's done comics.
He's done some stuff for DC before.
He has done some stuff, but you don't think of comics when you think of him.
No. But at least he's not completely fresh. He's worked in the medium before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I think it's an interesting cast as well. I know people will be like, "Oh, Montoya's going to get this kind of starring role in this," and characters like that who maybe haven't had the spotlight for a while. So that's pretty cool. What's your thoughts, Matt? You'd be very quiet over there.
Nothing. I don't want to step on anything you were saying. That's all. No, I'm excited. I like Ridley. So I wanted to check out his miniseries that was out, but I realized it was the second part of a miniseries he started years ago, that American Way. So I'm still waiting on that to all be collected so I can pick them up and check it out. But yeah, no, this is exciting. Everyone knows how much I love the history of the DCU. So the fact that we're going to get, this side view of it is pretty cool.
Do you know what I like about this? I like that maybe, during these eras where maybe some of these classic events happened, that this wasn't necessarily a prime concern with the writers at the time. They were just, they were just characters who were around. But he's going to go back through it and kind of like make something out of them. Say, okay, what's the perspective of the people who were kind of ignored almost, where it didn't really matter what they thought at the time. And I feel like this is an interesting way to sort of look back at the history and kind of celebrate these characters in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like if Supergirl's one would be like, is it the death and return of Superman from her point of view?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be maybe one for her. Maybe if each issue is like each character focused, and you get like, this is John Stewart's perspective on this particular event. Maybe parallax and all that stuff or something like that.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting.
I don't know what some of the others. I'm going, all right, what story? Because like those are maybe some of the easier ones.
Montoya could be No Man's Land and Cataclysm, that kind of era.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that's not like Vixen though.
I don't know. But maybe that'll be part of the fun, is seeing what he he plucks out from the
I
history.
mean, she's been hit or miss part of the Justice League, so we could see
that's true.
These different major events.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty cool. So, that's the news. That'll take us on. That'll take us on to books.
Yeah.
So we'll start off then, of course, with Detective Comics 972, James Tynion IV and Miguel Mendonca on art. Next part of course, the Fall of the Batman. We ended the last issue with Clayface coming after Batman in Arkham. He's been kind of broken and beaten down to turn evil and psychotic, and he's coming after the Batman. And this issue is essentially a horror issue, where Clayface is this monster that Batman's fighting. He's trying to talk sense into him, and it's not quite working. There's some cool cameo stuff at the start where Batman gets knocked into like the evidence room, or the personal items room in Arkham. But he kind of beats Clayface to an extent, but Clayface is just kind of faking so he can go after the Belfry. So it's like, hey, Clayface is coming, everyone brace yourself. So everyone's kind of trying to prep for it.
Well, it's all stuff like being part of Batman's team empowered Clayface into this new version where he's not just this big hulking monster. He has all these fun little tricks.
Yeah, so they taught him too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this whole thing of him fighting Batman, it's never Clayface, it's a copy. And it's just as powerful as Basil's making a break for the Belfry.
Yeah, and even just the simple idea of that he's learned to like hide in the sewer stream so that they don't see him coming, or when I get that it's supposed to be the bell in the actual thing in the bell. What do you call it?
The Belfry.
No,
the bit in the middle of a bell.
Yeah, that hits the side of the bell.
Yeah.
Oh.
The little hammer, or
I don't know what that's called.
Whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for it.
Music Man, what's it called?
I don't know. The bells. Who gives a shit about bells?
Christmas does. Jingle bells.
Yeah, this is. I don't like Christmas though, do I? So.
Oh, come on. Anyway, I will be honest though. When he comes down and he's clearly meant to be that in hiding, he looks like a big giant sperm when he's coming down for the bell. I'm not gonna lie. That's the first thing that popped into my head.
Yeah, no, he looks more like a wrecking ball. But I guess that's what would Freud say about us? That you thought he looked like sperm, I thought he looked like a wrecking ball.
No, because it was the face. It reminded me of like cartoons to teach you about sex ed, and you have the little sperm with the face on it. That's what it reminded me of. Anyway.
There we go, yay!
yeah, exactly. So this is all happening. He's fighting all the various family members, and you're just waiting for him to get to Cass. You're just waiting for that moment because you know that's what's going to kind of stop the onslaught. And even before, like actually, when she's watching the security footage earlier on, and she's like, "Can we please help him?" Like, you know, she's concerned about him.
That's probably my favorite moment of the issue. Not to tip too far ahead, just because you have Tim and Stephanie arguing about the different methods, right? And she's just there going, like, "This is our friend. You guys are going on him like he's a project, but I care about him."
Oh yeah, no. The moment of the issue is absolutely her just going, make him better, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I really like the variant cover in this one's really nice, by the way.
Yeah, the Albuquerque one.
Yeah, it's also more reflective of the issue. I mean, I know Batwoman does get this gun in the issue, but she never actually assembles it or aims it at anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I'll forgive the issue cover, right? Because covers often don't actually line up with what's in the book. However, even the text in this one says, "Will she take the shot?"
Will she pull the trigger?
Or will she pull the trigger? Yeah, whatever it was. But the point being is she's never even in a position where she could pull a trigger.
It does feel like it should be the cover for the next issue, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a mistake somewhere.
Because Kane even tells her, here, you can use this, and I know you're probably going to make it, not lethal with your little bat shenanigans, but here you go. It's out of my hands now. So I wonder if it's going to play into the whole Tim theory.
Well, yeah, because Tim's concerned that whatever Kate's going to do soon that's going to splinter the family, this is going to be it. He starts to be concerned of that. So we'll see if that plays out. And given that the arc is called The Fall of the Batman, I mean, I wouldn't shock. Although I don't want the team to disband, though, admittedly. I want the whole team to stay.
Honestly, my biggest problem with Detective at the minute is Tim. I was so happy to have him back, but it's such this. It's not Tim.
He's so broody.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But I like the fact that it's in stark contrast because Clayface brings it up.
No, that's it. I get it, but I was looking forward to having Tim back for just a bit before this stuff.
I don't think it's a mistake though. I think it is intentionally he's in this bad place. It's not like
I get it. Yeah. I get it. It's just disappointing as when Tim's my favorite.
He's not even in my top 3 of the characters in the book, so I'm doing okay.
Yeah, well, screw you.
I just like how Clayface calls him out, and he calls out each member of the team, and he's not wrong. You know, he's gotten to know them. And
Wrecking Ball Clayface, by the way, maybe my favourite Clayface.
Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
I like that. I like the art actually overall because one of the the art's been decent, but we've been complaining about how Clayface looks. I like how Clayface typically looks in this, especially now that he's more horrific and horrified.
Yeah, it does some inventive stuff as well. With it changing into the 3 villain heads as well at that point.
That's really cool. He's like, your Rogues Gallery Batman, and he's like, Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face.
They're coming out of his back because he's still older Tim.
Yeah,
and then out of his back pops up their heads, and it's just like, oh, that looks great.
It's proper like Cronenberg sort of
body horror.
Body horror, yeah. It's really cool.
Well, it reminded me of The Thing more than anything.
Oh yeah,
just with,
that's a good comparison.
Walking around, but I like what he said to Batman, where he's like, "Oh, so what? You're gonna rehab Two-Face, Joker, Riddler next? Like, are they your next project?"
Two-Face is doable.
He's done it before. There's precedent.
We had a whole thing with Riddler as well before the New 52.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Sure. He was running his detective agency, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think Harvey Dent's more ingrained in that he can possibly be redeemed because he's still kind of in there. Then Riddler's had that one thing. Joker.
I wonder, could that be a hint? Because like I say, we've done some Harvey Dent stuff. We've done the Riddler stuff. Is this maybe when we finally get to this? 3 Jokers stuff.
This has put Clayface in my top Batman villains, just based off of this issue. I mean, he was already building there because of the goodwill that Tynion's built with him.
That's true.
The Mudface stuff and the compassion, but he's a 3-dimensional character. Finally, he is unlike some of the other Bat villains.
He has risen through the Bat villain ranks, certainly. Although that said, it's weird because I don't even necessarily think of him as a villain right now. I think him of his allies, which is insane.
I don't want to say rogue though because it's a Flash thing. You know what I mean? Like but yeah, he's so dangerous, but at the same time, he's the most human out of all of them. Yet he's this big monster because Dr. October's talking about, this is his mental state. Like, if we hit him with the cure, he could be stuck in this half man, half monster brain. Forever.
It'll decide between one of them, and it could be the monster.
And obviously, when Cass does stop him, and she basically puts, tests him and says, "No, if that's not true. If you really don't care, then hurt me. Go ahead, do it." And he doesn't. He actually gets control of himself. He stops himself. But of course, this is just when we get the nice big build up to the cliffhanger that he's in the mudroom, and the mudroom's basically malfunctioning. He's going to absorb all the mud, and he probably can't control all that mud, or clay coming for. I said mud. I don't know why I said mud, but clay. The clay coming for him, and we get this big final page reveal of him basically becoming Kaiju Clayface.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Really,
as they refer to him, King Clayface.
Yeah. My favourite thing about it is he's almost got the aliens, morph kind of mouth thing, because he's got like a mouth within a mouth.
Yeah,
you got the double row teeth. Yeah,
I like that.
But he also looks like Godzilla. Like he's at the head shape. Like it looks like the. Mendonca would probably use that as reference, and that's cool.
There's almost like a werewolf pose to him as well.
Very primal.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the first victim in Anarchy, and we want to talk about Shades of Grey with Anarchy. I believe Tynion has a deep love of this character for whatever reason. I'm not one to judge Mr. Booster Gold, Connor Kent, but the conversation between the two, whereas first victim has, played his hand, and he just wants to destroy Batman. He says he wants to be there for the death of Batman, and he's like, well, I thought this was all to actual help people. So you can kind of see now.
I've got to be honest, their stuff did fall a little bit flat for me this issue.
I liked it.
Oh no, it was fine, but I feel like it should have taken the issue off because it just against all this Clayface stuff.
Yeah,
it just felt weak.
To its credit, it's only one page. There's like a couple of panels towards the end as well, but it's mainly just this one page. Here's my thing. I think Verse Victim is pretty cool. I typically like him. Anarchy, he's a bit more whatever. Like, I don't really care about Anarchy that much.
Yeah, but I feel like they're building him because when we had that Steph arc where it was her interacting with him, he doesn't seem like actually a bad guy. You know, he does want best. It's just his methods are a little bit too far to one side, if you will. You know, he's a little bit too extreme in how he wants to achieve it. And, you know, they always say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I feel he's on that road up until now where he sees the first victim as, this guy was an ally, but he's really just as bad as Batman because he doesn't have the people at heart.
Yeah,
he has his own.
I think you could maybe argue if, like, the way he reads what the first victim says is when he says, "Oh, I can't wait to see the bats die." He means more the idea of the heroes, the vigilantes, the symbol of the bat. Like, you know, not literally the people are going to die necessarily.
No, but it kind of throws their mission out the window if their whole mission was to bring, like, the people, because that was Anarchy's whole commune that he had. That undercuts first victim. Just like Mudface is only interested in revenge.
Yeah, it's kind of, it works though. Like, it works in the overall context of where we're going. At least it seems that way anyway. But I think the issue is very good. I think this and the last one have been great payoff emotionally for all the Clayface stuff. It's been really fun. Like, the cliffhanger was good last time. Then this time the actual fighting with Batman was great. The way he was appearing at the Belfry, the big cliffhanger at the end, the emotional moment with Cass. I think you can throw a couple of negative points at it for those of that page or so, but I think for the most part I really love this issue.
Yeah, it's a great issue. I almost wish it had taken that page off, given us that next issue. You know, when we can, when Clayface is in monster mode now, so we're dealing with the physical threat, whereas this is we have the actual emotional beats. I feel like give them the issue off and just have an extra page devoted to this stuff instead.
Yeah, maybe I can't necessarily argue with that. I mean, I could maybe see the argument that they wanted to have a page off for pacing reasons, to give you a break from the thing. Yeah,
maybe, but
because they didn't want to go straight from just Batman's fighting him to he's already at the Belfry. They wanted to give you because it gives you the sense of the passage of time by having like a little scene.
No,
in between.
I get that. I wish it'd been something else, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
because I think the thing is I have been enjoying them so much that they felt weak by comparison. So by holding them off, they'd have been stronger.
That's fair. But generally speaking, a pretty great issue, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just... You look at a team dynamic book, and there's always going to be a couple of those characters that kind of fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be Batwing and...
Azrael.
Azrael, just by the fact that they're not, like, upper-level fan favorites. And that's fine. That happened in X-Men books all the time.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's no coincidence that the weakest arc of Tech, and it's, like, nearly 40-issue run, was the Azrael-focused arc.
Yeah. And Batwing, for that matter, like he played a big part in that too.
Yeah. I think it was clever that they shared the arc, so we didn't have to do one for each of them.
That's true.
But I like that he's putting on a spotlight. Tynion is like it fleshes out Gotham, and that's the type of DC comics I like. So yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so we'll move on to Action Comics 995. Dan Jurgens writing and Brett Booth on art, which I did not know when I opened the comic on the tablet. I seen the name and I went, oh boy.
Oh no, I didn't even notice the name. I just kind of got to the first page. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, generally Pete reads these before I can even get mine because of work. And he goes, oh, hey, you get something to look forward to in action. I was like, yeah, I know, Booster. He's like, no, Brett Booth. And I might have thrown my phone.
Yeah. So the beauty of digital is I can get them at the crack of dawn, but so I was reading this and I'm like, oh man, this art's... It's funny because I was getting a couple of pages into it, I'm like, man, this is like... It's amazing how much his art just makes the book overall feel weaker, because in contrast to that, the issue of Titans this week that didn't have Brett Booth in art all of a sudden felt like it jumped up in quality.
I bet it was the best one in about 7 issues.
Yeah, it was. It absolutely was. I had problems with the issue, but nothing with the art.
I don't. Usually with Brett Booth, I found like his Nightwing run with Higgins was fine. I feel he pairs with certain writers.
He had a sense of motion in Nightwing.
Yeah.
I feel like the acrobatics suited it.
Yeah.
His style.
Well, even in Flash. Him on Flash wasn't too terrible either, because there's that sense of motion.
Yeah, it's when you have, these characters where they're just kind of flying.
Yeah.
It just doesn't translate for him. He needs the actual.
They feel very posed in this one. I feel like.
Yeah, there's a page where Superman's doing the For Tomorrow cover, where he's one foot up in the ledge and he's got his hands in the hips.
Yep.
He's doing that pose at one point. It's the whole thing. So this issue, they're in the 25th century, and the Eradicator bot's there. He's taking after them. And basically, this is a kind of Superman learns the history of Booster, his family life. We learn about Booster's father, about his mother. His father abused his mother, wanted him to throw games when he's a big football star, so that he'd rake money from the gambling and all that stuff. So we learn all about this, and that stuff's it's okay. It's interesting enough. I like Skeet kind of defending Booster and being like, "Hey, Superman, don't judge him too much, because here's why," and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I like that side of it. Superman's side of it was mostly kind of murky for me in this issue. It was kind of weird how, if at first he was really angry almost that he'd been ripped away from this Krypton with this other life, and it's like, well, why are you so angry? Like, it's like you're forgetting Lois and John exist. Like, what's going on?
Well, I don't like that it takes Skeets to remind Superman of that. Like, he has to remind him of the Kents. He's like, yeah, you lost your birth family when the planet exploded, but you got lucky and were raised by the Kents. Like, that means something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why does it take a security droid from the 25th century to explain this to you, man?
And like, there's times when Superman feels in character when he's like saying, "Oh, I don't want to steal the replacement parts that we need." That's kind of Superman. He gets talked into it, of course, which is amusing. But there's other points though when Booster's with his dad and his dad's going to turn his back on him and lock him in the cell so he can escape, and Superman's standing behind him, and there's that moment where he's just got his finger ready to ping him. And he pings him and he goes on. Now that itself I don't have a problem with. That's a funny little Superman beating the bad guy moment. But he looks so angry. This is the art more than anything else. But he looks so angry as he's doing it that it just feels.
That's it. I can't believe that anger was the direction in the script.
Yep.
Well,
even when he has the heat vision eyes, which is one of my favorite Superman tropes, he feels unnecessarily angry about having to steal the...
Do you know what it is? It's that the heat vision is blasting outwards in a way that we haven't seen in a while. It's generally been pretty focused recently.
Yeah.
But here it's it's a widespread beam. Mm-hmm. So and it just kind of glows and goes all the way. The whole panels turn red while this is happening.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, okay, this is pretty extreme.
I did like the Booster dad stuff though, because even as a Booster fan, I like how Jurgens got in depth with that. Like, we always kind of knew his dad wasn't on the up and up, but seeing how much of a POS he is here, it was, the fact that Booster becomes the greatest hero you've never heard of is really its own thing.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
so,
it was touching to see his mum be reunited with him and get to know that he's actually not a bad guy and he's doing something important with his life and whatnot. So there was elements of it I liked. I just think overall it was kind of a murky issue because Superman's characterization felt like it was up and down.
Yeah, do you know something as well? I genuinely think Booth affected the script level because this feels much more dialogue box heavy than it has been recently. And obviously Jurgens has been doing it all himself for the last little while, and he's not overwriting. He's trusting himself. It feels like, okay, he didn't trust the artist to carry this.
The funny thing is though is the narration boxes, which are all Booster in this issue, or for at least mostly anyway. He those are probably the best parts of this issue. Is his inner thoughts, talking about his own struggles. That and Skeet defending him. Those are the two things I quite like in this issue. The art not so much, and Superman's characterization not so much. And then we end with a pretty similar cliffhanger to the last time, where they go in the time stream pod and they end up somewhere else.
Oh. This is a straight up Burton Planet of the Apes ending.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
Complete with statue.
So they end up in a planet, and I don't know if Superman, if Matt has knowledge of this planet and where this two-sunned planet might be, but I'll let him jump in a second. So they go to a planet that has two suns. Like, okay, so we've got two yellow suns, so you'll be even extra Superman. you're taking in two suns of radiation. But of course, we're in a world a planet with cities and stuff, but there's a giant statue of Zod. This is a place where Zod is the Emperor, and he is in charge. And that is the cliffhanger into the next issue.
I thought it was interesting that next to the Zod statues, is a fortress-like structure, but in the background is very, human-style architecture.
It almost feels that this is a planet that Zod was had Superman-level powers and then took it over and became the Emperor.
Yeah, he's conquered it,
Yeah, but the two suns make me think it's not Earth.
Agreed.
Oh, it's definitely not Earth.
Yeah.
It's definitely not Earth, yeah. Because they said wherever we are, whenever we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to start introducing the parallel, multiverse, because thanks to Morrison, we have a very clear and concise idea of what the multiverse is. But then he stated within those, there's infinite numbers of parallel alternate that you can tell within that framework. So I feel this is kicking open that door.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the Krypton that they managed to get off in the arcs and found a new place. And now we're going to get one where Zod's supreme ruler. And,
Yeah, I almost like to think that there's 52, sort of neighbouring universes, but then, there's infinite number of sets of 52 beyond that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the thing is the 52 all have very distinct differences, whereas the parallel ones are more alternate timelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an infinite number because they always... There's that whole thought experiment where there's a different reality for each decision you made. So if you made a decision where you turned left, there's the one where you turned right. Or where you said yes, there's one where you said no. And they can play with all of these. And so I like the way this ended. And for the most part, I like the story in this issue, but stuff just feels off right now.
It's clunky, yeah.
It's clunky. Yeah. I don't hate it. I didn't hate reading it. It was the art would have obviously made it better if the art was good, but it's kind of fine just now.
Yeah. We have the 2 pages of Lois as well.
Oh yeah, of course. How could I forget? Lois is on a mission to save her dad, who's going to be gunned down in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about her honestly sneaking onto a plane to go and save him. I do like John sneaking off after her though. I like that part of it.
He did. He uses the same trick he used to go hang out with the Teen Titans of the fake body in the bed to the whites. Which I want an issue that's just Perry taking care of him, of John. And just being completely clueless to his adventures throughout the day and thinking he's doing a good job.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
I have a question.
Oh, go on.
I didn't think Lois knew Clark had gone through time. I thought that was... am I misremembering this? I thought it was a spur-of-the-moment thing that he just did.
Yeah, but he's been gone a little bit of a while. I'm sure the Flash filled her in.
Well, no, I can't remember the issue. I'd have to go look it to be sure. But
I was under the impression that she didn't know exactly.
I think he explained that he'd have to do something drastic, but we never saw exactly say what it was. But it maybe implied it before he actually left.
Yeah, maybe it's just the way she says, "Oh yeah, I'm not exactly breaking the time barrier," but I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess she is aware of what's going on." Then for some reason, I didn't think she was.
I'd have to. It's such a minor point that I never bothered remembering. If that makes sense.
No, that's probably what's happened to me as well. Maybe it did tell us and I've just forgotten. But it just when I got to that narration box that said that, I kind of went, "Huh, okay."
Yeah. It's a no big deal. Actually, before we move on, I mentioned last week because we had the damage previews at the end of all the last issues. This week we had all the silencer previews.
See, in my physical copies, we had the Terrifics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So... I have seen the Terrifics one, but I'll save that for when everyone gets
I'm not reading any of them.
Oh, no.
I'm not reading any of them either.
I never read previews. I'll make that clear. I look at the art. I never read the text.
I don't even do that. I get to the page where it has the cover and just says, here's the preview for... I mean, it's just silence this week. That's it, but closed.
No. If it's a new series, I like looking and having a glance at the art. But I brought it up last week, so I might bring it up again this week because I have different thoughts this week. Last week I said, "Oh, this damage bit looks okay." I was kind of like, "Oh, I'm curious about this." This week, Silencer is Dan Abnett writing and John Romita Jr. on art. I feel the complete opposite about this one. Nothing about these pages made me want to read it. I mean, I'll read the first issue. I'll give it a fair shake, but I'm not excited about it.
If I recall, this is the assassin one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the premise. So I don't know. I think the reason I'm specifically not looking at the previews for this one is I'm already familiar with all the artists, and that's, I don't really see the need.
Well,
because it's not just about like if the artist is good. It's more just about what does this book look like? What's the style of the characters? Because it's not like I'm familiar with any of the characters in most of these cases.
No, but I mean, Romita Jr.'s characters all look the same anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, Romita Jr.'s... Like, I'm not this paranoid freak who closes the book immediately just so he doesn't have to look at it, right? I get to those pages and I'm like, I might as well look.
I'm done. The issue's over. I'm fine. But looking at what's coming out, the 8 books, I'm excited for exactly half of them. Of 4. You know, of Damage...
That sounds about right.
Terrifics, Immortal Men, and New Challengers.
The rest of them, I'm just... Yeah, that sounds right.
I'd have to check the list again because I don't remember.
I think I glanced at them all, and I think that was the one. Just based on the names, I think that was the 4 that I was more interested in.
And Damages could go either way, really. I just like the idea of DC having a Hulk. You know,
As do I. Well, I'm going to bring it up again next week, whatever the preview is, and Connor can complain again that he doesn't like looking at them, but we shall move on to the next book, which is Wonder Woman number 38, James Robinson writing, Emanuela Lupacchino on the art. So this is the start of a new arc. Still James Robinson, of course. But we're at the start of a Silver Swan arc. This is a weird issue in terms of like how I feel about it. Because it's kind of ups and downs. I actually kind of like the Silver Swan stuff. But then halfway through... your mic's going, Matt. Halfway through, you jump to... Oh, Jason's a bit of a party animal and he's messed up Wonder Woman's condo.
I was out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm enjoying this. It's Lupacchino art. Robinson's not doing bad things. It's not the Silver Swan I remember from the Rucker run.
It's definitely different, yeah.
You know, but that's fine. We're doing something new. I can get over that. She has nanites and... Oh, wait, here's Jason? I don't want to read this anymore.
Yeah, I like about... I'd say it's about 70% of this issue.
Yeah, because you get...
The non-Jason
You get about 50%, and then you go to the Jason stuff, and then you come back for another 10% at the end. And again, it gets better at the end again.
It's all like, we get it. Jason, he was in a small fishing town. He didn't have to hide himself. I get it. Just her being the big sister and talking down to him, I don't think is a good look for Diana.
It also feels weird dialogue-wise. Like, did it make anyone else feel weird that she referenced Jaeger bombs at one point?
Yeah.
It just felt weird. I was like, oh.
This is a woman
that,
like,
weird about that.
6 years ago didn't know what ice cream was. But she's just throwing, like, Jaeger bombs around like it's nothing.
Maybe that's just because I feel like Jaeger bombs are so obscenely prevalent that...
Okay. What exactly is a Jaeger bomb, Connor?
So you get Jägermeister, and you get Red Bull usually, or any energy drink. Pour them together, neck it.
Gotcha. Because we went to a pub last night, and my wife insists on car bombs, and yeah. So I know what that is, but I didn't know if a Jaeger bomb was along the same lines.
No, it's stuck out to me, especially since it came like. And this is not a complaint. I actually kind of like the idea of. Because at one point, Silver Swan, Vanessa, when she's like narrating, because she's the narrator for most of the issue, she explains that when Wonder Woman came to visit her, she taught her how to play D&D, and I love this idea that forever now that Wonder Woman knows how to play D&D. So if they ever like reference that she can't play it in the future, I'm gonna be like, that's bullshit. She doesn't know how to play D&D.
Well, I like to think that they weren't really playing D&D, and she was just telling her stories of fighting Hydra and whatnot. Like,
well, she specifically told her. She said in the narration, "I taught her to play D&D." That was the exact line.
No, I know, but like
to play D&D.
Yeah. Anyways, I like the idea of Wonder Woman taking it as fact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's true. I will say I laughed in the Jason section where when she's going, "Oh yeah, what were your powers again?" I forget. Oh, what was that? Being super dramatic.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, just give him shit.
That also felt. I could see Lois saying that, or Black Canary. Coming on Diana, it's a little bit catty.
It is. Yeah. I think though I like that. It's just no. This guy is such a prick. He's even making Diana
She's
laugh.
had enough of his bullshit. She's like, get out.
Yeah.
Jason stuff is awful. I don't want it there. Luckily, I like the. I mean, I think this is still the best issue he's done so far.
Yeah.
Just purely because most of it's other stuff and it's good.
There's not a lot of Jason. Oh no, I like the. I like the last. It was probably the last of Pacino, but. The Dark Side and Grail stuff, that issue, that was pretty fun.
Again, notably no Jason in that one.
Exactly. And anybody else feel like Robinson just called an audible? Like, Jason was supposed to die at the end of the Zeus stuff.
I wish he did.
But, yeah. Because this felt like it was just added.
I'm sure he's got some idea that he's going to do with Jason before he stops writing the book, and I don't know what. I like how Silver Swan looks. Obviously, the art's very good. Yeah. I like the fight that Wonder Woman has when Silver Swan's telling the story of how she got hurt. Yeah. And it's like there's this fight going on in the background with
Major Disaster.
There you go, that's the one. Yeah. I like that name actually.
Major Disappointment. That's what.
But they're fighting. There's a lot of like Wonder Woman, like walking through like, the smoke of the debris and stuff like that. It looks really nice. Yeah. Like, I like all that stuff.
Art's on point. Like,
that's good. That's great. And I like the Silver Swan design at the end. I really like it. Yeah. So.
Well, I also like because Silver Swan was a ballet dancer, but now that she can't dance anymore.
What's the first ballet most people have heard of? Swan Lake.
Swan Lake, right?
There you go.
But I was just gonna say with Lupacchino's art, that the poses for the dancing, everything felt natural. Where we were just talking about Booth, where it felt very posed and not natural. This was the opposite.
And it was even more impressive given that the dancing stuff was her drawings.
Yeah.
So it had a completely different style and shift to it as well.
The Silver Swan thing actually comes because she used to fantasize about being a sidekick almost to Wonder Woman, and she would fly with her. So it has its.
And I think we're gonna find out she's an unreliable narrator later on, because I don't feel like you jump from Wonder Woman's my best friend to I'm gonna kill Wonder Woman.
Well, it's a very dark and sad story because basically Wonder Woman gets too busy doing other things because she's a superhero and she stops visiting her and she feels really sad, and then her mum dies in a car crash and she just gets depressed and that leads to sort of what we ultimately see. I feel like we're going to fill in this backstory. I feel like next time we'll get more flashbacks to the next part of it. Maybe
I like that we did get, even in this state that she's in, she did have the rationale to say, look, I know no one even probably knew how to contact Wonder Woman to tell her that my mum died, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm still angry.
Yeah, she's still logically thinking about it until she feels bad enough that she doesn't care. It's like she's still kind of like, she's saying, okay, that makes sense, she's not because she's busy, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually it's just it overcomes and it's like, no, screw her, I'm alone, I hate her, and that. So I like that she's kind of sympathetic. It's worth mentioning this is, I believe, the third... I mean, obviously, this is kind of a different retell. I don't know how similar this is to previous versions of this specific one, but this is the third main Silver Swan version. Because the original Silver Swan actually had powers. It was actually like magic or powers. She had actual wings and all that. Whereas the later two were both like, they have suits that can do all the flying and stuff.
Yeah, the one from the Rocha arc was a government program, and she volunteered for it, and it kind of Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Or kind of took over.
Do you remember?
She was a tragic character.
Do you remember if that's Vanessa Capitellis?
Capitellis.
Yeah, okay, that's the same one. Yeah,
because she's Greek. Because that's always a part that runs through.
Yeah.
She felt so she always felt a connection with Wonder Woman because of their heritage.
So it's one of these that they've rebooted a few times over the decades.
And that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, okay, this is a new version of Silver Swan. That's fine. It feels like New 52 Silver Swan, not in the bad way, but it was like, we're going to throw away the old version and just redo
I like how she's kind of this disgruntled best friend, like this obsessive best friend.
It's tragic.
Yeah. And that's why I think maybe there'll be more flashbacks and we'll actually get the okay, so she's mad at her for not showing up, but I feel like there must be a trigger for the hatred, something that really pisses her off.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I feel like we might
her first victims are this family she sees that Wonder Woman helped save, and so she goes and targets them. And when Wonder Woman walks into that house with that lady's legs on the floor, I audibly gasped.
It's a really dark page when she. It's a big full page with this family lying dead on the floor. It's really dark.
Yeah, like you say, there is the severed leg. It's just holy shit, and and
the look on Diana's face is pure horror. Just like
I love seeing the reflection in the mirror, the silhouetted reflection of her in the mirror. It's so good.
Just lurking.
I like how dark she is as well then. On top of just the weird sympathy you have for her as well, because she is kind of sympathetic in her backstory, but then you have this, what drives her to this specifically.
Yeah, it's great.
So
another small note that I really liked is the design of the caption boxes for Silver Swan's dialogue boxes.
They're like that.
They're silver.
Like that flowery... piece on the top left.
Yeah, but they've got that. They've got just a different shape to them. They're not just square boxes. They've got like little lines and curves to them. That it was just nicer to look at.
No one appreciated my dumb joke. That's fine.
We all heard it. We just ignored it.
I didn't actually hear it.
He said, "I appreciate what's different about the silver caption boxes." Like, yeah, they're silver.
Oh, yeah.
Good
thing we steamrolled that and went back to it.
Well, you know what? I want credit for my dumb joke, damn it. Me being facetious, but hey. So Jason stuff sucks, but at least this arc seems like it's mostly going to be better. Except for that one scene each issue where we're going to go back to Jason and him deciding not to be an asshole.
Oh no. Just kill him.
Yeah, kill him as quickly as possible.
No, that's the one upside. As soon as he decides not to be a dick, is when he gets killed.
Most lately, yeah.
So the sooner it happens, the better.
Yep. Next issue.
Well, that'll take us on to the Flash number 38. Joshua Williamson writing and Scott Kolins on art.
I love Kolins on Flash. It's one of my favorite things.
As do I. You know, I didn't know he was on this, and I got a few pages of art. I like this art. Who's this art? This is different than usual. Oh, Scott Kolins. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, only because it takes me back to the Johns days.
Oh yeah, that's why I like it as well.
You know what I mean?
I like his Flash stuff. I don't like his people stuff. Like the very first panel, you know, you've got the Barry and they're there on the, and it just looks weird. It just looks off to me. And the proportion of Reverse Flash behind him. Oh,
I love Thawne's head there. It's so menacing. You know, he almost has the proportions of Thanos from the movie. Movies. He's got a big chin.
I just don't like it. It just looks wrong. And that's not a good start to an issue. And the first thing I'm looking at
it's Scott Kolins to me. That's just one of the ones that I accept.
Yeah, it's accented, but it's an accented I like. I'm down with this.
No, not for me.
I'm down with this issue. In fact, my favourite page in this is when August, turns the ace room off or whatever it is. Turns out August is actually still on his side. He's sort of set a trap for all the rogues, and there's a full page spread of the main focus of it is Barry finally hitting Cold in the face, but you actually see like the speed punches hit all the other rogues in the room as well around him. It's a really nice page. Sort of, it shows that he's doing this all very quick, but the focus is still the main one that he's really wanting to punch. I like it. It's good.
No, that was a nice page.
He's punching Heatwave, Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, and Golden Glider. Yeah,
and then cool. Cold, of course.
Also, I like the look of Cold with the hand wraps, shirtless, with his glasses on still. Because he doesn't need the glasses because he's not blasting anybody, but he's like, damn it, it's my thing. I'm gonna ride with it. Like, it's a cool visual.
Yeah. I do really like Kolins drawing Flash. I'm looking. I feel like Flash has not looked this good in the entirety of Rebirth. And we've had good artists on Flash, but I just mean Flash himself in the suit.
Nah, you're wrong. G. Domenico looks better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even over G. Domenico?
Maybe. I don't know. It's more... Maybe this is nostalgia I'm speaking, but it's more old school. It feels a bit muscular. I like it.
I don't know. If it was Ginger Wally, I would say just because of nostalgia. I don't know. I mean...
I'll give you one...
It's fine.
I'll give you one criticism of the art, though. I'll give you one critique. I feel like Wally is constantly looking like he's squinting his eyes. For whatever reason, that's how he's drawn his eyes. He's always squinting.
They're either squinting or wide open.
Yeah. I don't mind the wide open pages, because it fits the emotion of the panel, but the rest of them, when he's just squinting for no reason, I don't know why. It just does. That's the thing.
He just has lines. He doesn't really have eyes. He just has lines.
I dig this issue a lot, though. It wraps up this plot. I like this idea that August does kind of want redemption. He could have escaped, but he chose not to. He wants to still help. And he basically says to Barry, hey, you're basically in prison by your own hand. Like, you're punishing yourself, and you've served your time. Go do this. It was a nice wrap-up issue, I thought. It teased the next thing, of course, because Copperhead's working for someone else, and we don't know who that is. So they teased that. But all the stuff with him fighting the rogues was fun. I liked him going to save Wally and Copperhead. That was good stuff. And then him coming in with Sin and being like, hey, like, I've shown him evidence, like, you're guilty. And they actually take Cold out of Iron Heights, where he actually quite is comfortable, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And they've sent him off to Belle Reve. I wonder if Cold's in Suicide Squad now.
Well, we saw him meeting Waller.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Not that we read that book, but I mean, it's a nice thought that he's over there doing Suicide Squad stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh, him and Boomerang having some epic squabbles. Like,
bit of a fight for leadership.
Yeah. I could see that.
I've always liked that Cold was principled. You know, like, he didn't kill. He just basically wanted to get his score. He's kind of like Danny Ocean in that way with the cold gun. But I feel like in the last couple of years they've made him homicidal. And I don't know if I like that. Like the image of him snapping Turbine's neck and whatnot. Like,
yeah, it's a good point. It's a bit strange.
It's a bit different for Cold. I mean, it's not as bad as Superman snapping someone's neck.
No,
but it is still out of character.
It is. I mean, it's out of character in the classical sense. It's not out of character in that he's been kind of on this path for the last, like, basically since the start of the New 52, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, not quite that long, because he did have that stint in the League with Lex.
Yeah, but that was because Johns was writing him and wanted to do a redemption arc.
Yeah.
But everyone else, he did start in the New 52 because that's where he had the cold powers. He was just freezing people and smashing them left and right.
Yeah.
You know, so...
I feel like, writers, for some reason... And, you know, I think Williamson typically has a good handle on the big cast of The Flash, but, yeah, even his Cold's a bit more sadistic. Actually, I really like the panel where August is, like, sort of dreaming of being Godspeed again, and it's sort of like Godspeed's head's behind him, and you got all the motion lines. I like that.
Proportioned properly.
Yep.
Sure. He's got epic stubble, actually. And, we see something that's kind of weird. Kristen's kind of kissing up to old, what's his face? Wolf, aye. She's kind of kissing up to him. It's like, this is weird. This is out of character for her. And you get this little tease towards the end where she's like, yeah, Captain, he trusts me. I'm like, oh, yes. She's going undercover. She's going to bust him and find out what he's been up to.
Bad Wolf.
Yeah, it's cool. And then it all ends, of course, with him basically apologising. We find out he's talking to Iris, and he's like, hey, can you forgive me? I'm trying. And he's got his bow tie on as well. But I feel it's been a while since we've seen the bow tie.
So, you know, what'd be cool, and this is what I want, and this is basically me fantasy booking this to borrow a term from wrestling. But we have the Flash War coming up, right?
Yeah, we're getting the tease in the annual, and then it starts probably in like May, I think.
Yeah, because the next issue is 700 overall, and that's starting the next arc, which will probably be up until the other one starts. Yeah, so
so we've kind of had Bart be reintroduced, and we have Wally just kind of hanging around, not doing anything. I would love for Barry and Iris to get together and go off to the future for a little bit. And that leaves Wally and Wally here to be Flash and Kid Flash. It's there. With the way this ends, it feels
the thing is, it's there for Barry, but I don't think Iris is there yet.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have some time of him building up to her again and her learn to trust them and accept.
Well, that's what I mean, and maybe at post Flash War, that's where they go. As Barry realizes,
maybe post Flash War, maybe by then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This to me planted that seed of them ending up together. I mean, it's on the show. It's what continuity is for the most part.
I wonder if Felicity will hijack their wedding in the comics too.
She's the worst, isn't she?
She has the worst.
My shop right now is a clearance table, and they have a bunch of action figures, but the only Arrow / DC CW one they have is Felicity. They have like 4 of her, and nobody wants her. And
they can't give the things away.
No. So, cracks me up. But yeah, I just reading this, I felt like that's the direction they're going, and we know again Flash War's coming, and we had the first promo image, at least the first one I saw. And it had all the different Flash costumes on there, including Impulse.
Great. He was putting up a couple of double page spreads on Twitters as well, and it looked really good. Like, I'm actually kind of excited about Flash War.
Who's on art for the annual? Could anyone remember?
I want to say Porter, but I could be completely talking bullshit.
Oh, okay. Sounds reasonable. He's been off and on this run.
It definitely looked older school. It didn't look like one of the newer names that we've been used to in the run. But no, I'm digging Flash. I think this was a solid ending to a pretty solid arc.
My favorite arc in a while.
I think Flash is like, it's never outstanding, it's never blowing us away, but I think it's a solid 7 to 8 out of 10 book.
Yeah.
Typically.
I feel like it's higher when it's got Jay Domenico on art, and I feel like it's been far too long since I've had that.
Maybe he's in the whole next arc or something like that, and that's why he's been taking time off. He's been getting ahead.
It amazes me. We had him do that entire first 8 or 9 issues in a row, and then it's been a bit off and on. But I want just a full arc from him. Maybe the
next issue is the start of his arc. That he's going to be there for the whole thing.
If not, give me him on Flash War.
Maybe he's on Flash War. Yeah, one of the two. I'd expect, unless he's doing something else somewhere else. Like he's off.
He could be. We have obviously not heard anything about it anywhere else though.
Might not even be DC. Maybe he's off doing some indie book or something. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see if he's popping back up. Of course, if I pay attention to the solicits a bit more, I'd just have answers for you.
Yeah, but then you get surprised when you open the book and you see that it's got Kolins.
Or Brett Booth, depending on the book.
Oh god, that's the surprise where you don't know what's coming and someone accidentally hits you in the nose.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster ride of emotions. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to arguably the main event of the week, and I mean, if it wasn't for Doomsday Clock, maybe the month, and that's Mr. Miracle #6. Tom King writing and Mitch Gerads on the arts.
Got a hell of a cover quote from Bendis on this issue.
Yes,
did you guys read it?
I did it today. I forgot what it is now. Go on, read it out.
This is every year one book stands up above everyone else's. Fans and creators alike stop and stare in amazement at a couple of creators finding a new voice, new point of view, and new levels of artistic expression. This year it is Mr. Miracle. So,
I'm down. That's cool. That's fine.
There's people that try to transition without causing too much of a stir. But Bendis is essentially cannonballing into the pool.
He's gone, screw it. I'm giving them praise.
I feel like Bendis is maybe just because of his brand and what he's supposed to be promoting, has been kind of almost just silencing himself on DC, opinions and impressions and that kind of thing for a long time. That now that he's allowed to just worship DC, he's like, everything's great. Because I don't know if you pay attention to his Twitter, he is constantly posting images of old art from various books, from DC books.
It's been who was it? He's been tweeting lately. Done a lot of. I know some people say speculate.
Jose
Rivera?
No.
There was a character that he was tweeting a lot.
Character.
I can't remember who it was now, but there was a lot of articles speculating that maybe they're in the whatever he's doing, because it started off with just one image of this character, and then there was 40 over 3 days.
But regardless of that, Mr. Miracle, which we're here to talk about. Tom King killing it as usual. This entire thing is one conversation, but whilst that conversation plays out, they go through a gauntlet of different things: trials, fights, basically almost bank heist level, sneaking into places and wire work and all various kind of things.
It felt like a side-scrolling video game. I felt like I was watching Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Let's not get over the fact though that the guards that came from at the end of last issue, they actually put in a furnace. That's the opening of the book. Is them burning the bodies.
One of his escape. Yeah, it's one of his escape devices.
Yeah.
The flame. What is it? The flamulator?
Flamer.
Just a flamer.
The flamer. Yeah. That's right.
You're trying to make it sound cool, even cooler than it is, Matt. Flamulator.
Because he talks about the Stabotron later, and those words just crack me up.
Yeah, here's what he says. I can't remember the name. It was I know Helen was visiting and she got stabbed in the middle of the night, but I've put a warning sign on the Stabotron. It's fine.
Look, just putting this out there, this is my favourite issue of this book.
Yeah?
Oh, I wonder what his pick at the end of the episode is going to be for the week.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, come on. I've read 5 books this week.
I'm
just saying, build a little bit of suspense.
No. I can't with this one because I love this issue.
So they're having this domestic conversation about their condo, and they get to the part about the closet, and no joke, 2 weeks ago, me and my wife had the same conversation about, well, why do you need space? You put all your stuff on the floor.
I did the same. This is the most relatable issue because even the bit where they're talking about the counter and they're like, oh well, we got all that stuff on the counter. We did the exact same. We had a table in the living room. And I was like, but we got all the stuff on the table. She's like, I don't care about all the stuff on the table. I'm like, but where are the stuff going to go? It's like, I don't care. And now the table's gone. What a surprise. Who won that argument?
Yeah, the beauty of this issue is that all of the domestic stuff it's talking about is super down to earth and realistic, but then it keeps sort of weaving in all the other things. Like that conversation about the closet and having a lot of things turns into, well, I want a lot of things because when I was, younger and we were on, with Granny Goodness and all that, I couldn't have things, so I wanted things. It made me feel better to buy things and have things.
Yeah.
So it does a lot of smart
and then
things
the
with
fact that his room in the pit was a 3x3 box, and that's what made him who he was. He wanted to escape that box, and Barter's like, well, yeah, I was in there too, but you don't see me like crying about escape. Like the relationship's so perfect.
I know.
Like,
no, it's fantastic, and it's building up, and they're arguing about. I say arguing, they're having debates. She wants to make the closet into a new bathroom, and he's like, "We've already got a bathroom." And then she's like, "Yeah, and then I want to half the living room, but the living room is nice and big. I like the living room." And then
took it.
I love. There's a point where you kind of go, "Oh, I know where this is going."
Oh yeah, you figure it out
exactly.
As soon as she keeps going, and it's like, especially if you don't figure it out already, as soon as she says we need a bedroom, I'm like, okay, I know where this conversation's heading, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But of course, Scott being Scott, he's being dense. He's not clicking together.
He's also fighting for his life on New Genesis. Like,
oh yeah, there's a whole fight underwater, and then obviously there's the funny banter with the guards. We're like, if we're the fourth world, who's the third world? It doesn't work like that. And I mean, what do you know about theology anyway? I'm a god. I am theology.
No, what cracked me up is that it goes, dude, I'm a god.
Dude, I'm a god.
It's the dude that added it so much to that.
Dude, where's my car?
Like, dude, I'm a god. I am theology.
Yeah.
But
I actually just burst out laughing when I read that.
See, I had that spoiled for me.
Someone, like, what are you doing?
Someone tweeted that out, and I clicked on it. So it got stolen. It's so funny. Yeah,
it's really funny.
But it's
it's really good, and obviously they come out the water behind them, and then they fight the guards, but then they actually get the entrails of the big fish thing they killed, and use the entrails to pass the big void that's not supposed to be passable, and they're like tightrope walking, and Bard is tightrope walking, Scott's sort of hanging from below, or
reverse.
Is it reverse? Okay, all the way around. But it's delightful. It's the whole thing, and. One of my favourite sequences actually of the book. I like the underwater stuff. I love after that whole void bit though, where they're in the room where the ceiling's coming down. Just the Jill Sandwich moment from Resident Evil basically, and Bard is like holding it up as long as she can. So as the page goes on, it's getting lower and lower, and he's like trying to like open this thing, and then they eventually crawl through. It goes on for 2 pages, and it just keeps getting smaller, and it's like things are getting tighter and tighter. It's very good. It's actually the end of that page where it's like, so who's in the new bedroom? It's been so dense. Like, who's in the new bedroom then? What's the new bedroom for? I don't understand. That's when Light Ray's there. They fight him. And after she says they're pregnant, right?
Yep.
There's a whole page of like more fighting. And Barda beats Light Ray, and then Scott just comes up and hugs her from behind. It is the most delightful thing ever. And it's a great callback as well, because earlier on she was talking about how Granny would always like tell her that she loved her. That was a thing that always happened, but it was just part of the noise. It didn't mean anything, and you don't listen to noise. So when he comes up and hugs her and says "I love you," she just says to him, "I believe you, Scott Free." And it's a nice callback to that conversation where she understands the difference between the fake "I love you" and the real "I love you." It's a beautiful moment. And of course, the next page where he's like, "Oh, when I get back, I'll start throwing out that stuff in the closet. It's fine. The cigar boxes. I'll get rid of it. It's fine." And he's so happy. He's smiling. She's smiling. He's getting into the room
through the door
to face his brother. And all I can think is, storytelling 101. They are too happy. Something bad is about to happen.
Even before that, I went into this with King saying, "Oh, it's the end of an arc." I was like, okay.
Well, this is the end of the first trade. When they get released in books, this is the end of the first half of it.
I can't wait for the deluxe hardcover. I can't wait to have this on my shelf.
You'll need to wait, though, because they're doing the separate hardcovers first.
I know. That's fine. I'll wait, but it's coming.
It's coming.
I know it's coming. There's no way this doesn't come.
So you go in the room, and the colours, it's like dark purple, the complete colour scheme changes, and Orion's on the floor, bleeding.
The video effect comes in.
Video effect comes in, battered. Like, yeah, it's actually a good point. Like, all issue is the video effect there at all. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. No. I think it's really clear because they're so focused on everything that's going on.
And Scott's,
it's only there where things get weird that he gets it.
And Scott screaming, "What did you do?" His eyes, his big white eyes, as he's screaming that is great. And then for the first time in this book, 6 issues in, we get a glimpse of Darkseid. He's sort of there, again, behind the bad video effect, and he has one line, he says, Darkseid does not do, and then the one time in this book you get the black panel, Darkseid is.
Oh my god, I got chills when I read that. Like, that is the hell of a payoff.
It's fantastic. Joe, what's fantastic about it is that they've held back on him actually as a visual presence, as a physical presence, the whole book. They've built him up. This is... One of my favourite things that happen in stories is when... And I feel like the new Twin Peaks was very guilty of this, and I say guilty in a good way, where it's not a horror TV show, right? This is not a horror book, but they're treating the villain like he is the scariest mother effer that ever lived. He has a scary presence. He is an ominous, doom film. Yeah,
we talked about that early.
Cosmic horror, all that.
I love how you don't even get a proper look at Darkseid, because he's all covered up with the effects. It's cracked. There's scribbles almost over him, and you just go, but you know, okay, that's Darkseid.
Especially since, and he was actually there because the boom tube happens the next panel after the Darkseid is. There's a boom tube, and then Barda comes in screaming, what will happen, and he just, in the last line of the book is, I saw the face of God, and boom. There's no issue, by the way, next month, so...
I figured as much, actually, with it being the break for Jurgens to...
Because they had that conversation about him being the son of God and all that in between, and that because he talks about Highfather giving him away to in the pits, and how's that fair?
And
but he doesn't wallow in it.
For life, essentially.
Yeah, and that's what it goes. And then, but the way that he talks about Highfather is that Highfather's God, and then if Highfather's God, then he's the son of God. Well, then. And he gave me to the devil, right?
Yeah.
So what's that all about? And then you get here, and now he's seeing the face of God, and it was Darkseid.
Yeah, I think if we're going back to this whole book's like a living metaphor for depression. Yep. I think the idea of he's so happy, the idea that depression just hits, you have your ups and your downs, and it kind of just hits.
Yep.
That's almost what this moment
depression is.
Depression is. That's exactly it.
Yeah. He says, I saw it. I wasn't looking, but there it was. It's kind of like, it's like the sun. It's because it's perverted in this way. But, the sun, you don't look at it because you don't look directly at it unless you're a bloody idiot.
But the sun is.
But even that, you always see it. It's kind of just, it's in your peripheral vision. You kind of, without looking at it, you see it.
Pete's going to get upset, but there was in the new Star Wars, there's that line. If you only believe in the sun when it's there, then you have nothing to hope for in the night. And
Hackneyed
same
trash.
kind of thing. So, but yeah, ooh-wee.
Oh dear.
So steamroll it.
Okay, here's a complaint about Star Wars: The Last Jedi I've not actually made yet. Right?
Oh, for Christ's sake!
It's a small thing. It's a small thing. It's a very small thing. What was with Laura Dern's hair and dress? That's all I'm saying. What was the choice of her attire and that wacky haircut? I'm just putting that out there.
I can actually answer that. That was a big part of the novel that she appeared in, the Leia book when she was younger.
I don't care. That doesn't explain it for the movie. I don't care what's in the book.
I'm answering it. It was just who she was as a character. Her world was just like they were all like these were like kooky free spirits and stuff. And that's just how she expressed herself.
It'd be nice if I got a sense of this kooky upbringing or something in the movie.
Yeah, that's the point of her appearance in the movie is she isn't like that. It's supposed to be a contrast because you know that if you know this, but if you don't know it, it's just that looks different to how she's portraying herself. So there's a contrast. So it's supposed to be there's more to her than just giving these orders.
But there's no need to be more to her because do you
know what? No. That is bollocks. You saying there's no need to be more to her. If there's not more to her, you'd complain that there's no character there.
Well, there is no character there, though.
But there is a character there.
There is. She's a plot device and nothing more. Yeah, we're done. Let's move on.
This is your
fault.
No,
we're done, Matt. Put your headphones back in, you dumb asshole. Come on.
I can't get up and leave because then all my stuff behind me gets shown. We can't have that, so that's my new. I'm just gonna.
We're done, Matt. We're done. Mr. Miracle. We're on Mr. Miracle.
I'm sorry for even bringing it up, but I thought it was part of
Don't bring up that movie when we're talking about this. This is like the opposite of quality of that movie. Come on, this is This is fantastic.
All right, let's move on.
You're just out to offend people.
Wait, you want to move on to another book, or we get more of Mr. Miracle to? Do you want to?
No, I'm done with Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
Like, this was pretty straightforward. As far as the rest of the issues have gone, where you can look into how they're structured, I mean, there's a little bit of things here or there, but again, it's that side-scrolling.
It's completely
type
continuous
of fight until the end.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the sequence of, there's just the way all the events look. Like you got the lasers one, the it's all the colors. It's shifting between the greens, the blues, the purples, and then you've got the underwater one, which is just gorgeous.
Oh, it's fantastic, and I think I think what works about given this conversation entire issue is that the idea that the very idea of having a child is like hope for the tomorrow. It's like, so it's important to them just in concept, but it's also important in the overall theme of like, better's going to come out of this. Like we're going to produce something better.
But it's also terrifying because now you're responsible for a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, and
sure.
Just the only other note on the art, I love the white space. When the roof's coming down on them.
Yeah, it's the same when they're crawling in the tunnels. There's this black space around them as well.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's more notable with the white because when the black space, there's still the 9-panel grid separating it, whereas because it's been white borders anyway, when it gets to that, it just looks like there's just more and more space. You lose the separation.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I do think I prefer the last issue by a smidge.
Well, you would be wrong.
No, I think the emotional.
I like them both.
Obviously I like him both. This is just him having to be contrary. He can't hear me say something the opposite without him going, well, you're wrong, and he has to turn it into a fight for this. He's basically every asshole on the internet where you have to pick A or B, and he's upset if you pick the other one that he doesn't. That's Connor in a nutshell.
No, it's fine. You can pick between all the rest of your issues this week. I don't give a shit about those.
Oh, God. Alright, let's move on. To Supergirl number 17, Jody Houser and Steve Orlando writing, Robson Rocha on the art. Matt, what did you think of this issue?
Yeah, I liked it. I like, was it Decelia? I like her...
Starshame.
Her origin. What's that?
Starshame's our
Starshame,
villain
that's
name,
her code name. Yeah, I like that. I like how she's a dark Supergirl, for lack of a better term. But, and the fact that the DEO is starting to lose control of these people because these are more troublemakers than what we've seen.
Yeah, but she's also not mind controlled, but she's been conditioned to do what she's doing. Yeah. But she's obviously gone off book, and Supergirl kind of realizes this. So there's some fun fighting at the start with the ship, and you get all that. Again, I'm loving the high school stuff and her concealing her identity, and there's those little moments with Eliza where she's putting more stuff in the fire, and she just uses her hand to put her hand in the furnace. Yeah. And it's like, hey,
don't do that. The neighbors could be looking. What are you doing?
Kara, use the thing. So yeah, I think the art suits Supergirl actually. So I like that. Colors nice and bright and bold. Faces are very expressive. There's some plot seeds set up. You've got Chase working with the scientist. Veritas. She's trying to figure things out and what Bones is up to. Bones has got one more though. He's got one more meta villain that he's not had to condition, who we get at the end. Now I'm not going to say I know who this is because I have no idea. Do you have any idea who this is, Matt?
Nope. No. It looks very much like Hela in Thor, like just inverted. So that's weird, and maybe on purpose. I don't know. But I'm sure that she says Ruin, and it's, I don't know, maybe there's a new version of Ruin. I'm not too sure. But it says the Evolutionist strikes, so... Yeah,
maybe it's the Evolutionist, maybe that's her name. She's about the school dance, because we have this is actually what I've been really liking this arc, because I feel like the high school stuff's really kind of come into its own.
Popping.
Yeah, because you've got her, Ben kind of asked her to the dance, she turns it down, and then she's feeling kind of jealous about Belinda, even though she turned him down. It's like, and all this internal struggle, it's very Peter Parker, and I'm kind of digging it for Supergirl's kind of character. By the way, can I say it? I think Ben looks quite good at the dance. He's got this fancy suit and hat on. He's looking quite...
he got a haircut, he's wearing a pork pie hat, it looks like. He's or a fedora, whatever.
Yeah.
I get my hats confused. But
it's the whole thing.
He looks nice. Probably my favorite moment though doesn't have anything to do with the high school. I mean, kind of the high school stuff, but You find out that the agent Ocampo that's at the school that's constantly trying to pin Kara down to get her report.
Bit of guilt in there seeping in.
Because she found out that Supergirl saved her at one point, and she doesn't really have anything against her, but she's just following orders.
Issue 5 specifically.
Yeah, and back in issue 5. Yeah. So I like that it's playing into that with the longer game, and we see the DEO, since Bones has come over, is definitely a worse place. He's using, who's that guy? He looks like a Inhuman from the other company.
That's definitely not an Inhuman. I can tell you that.
No, but he looks like, oh man, what's his name? But he's the one that's Mokari. He's the one that's what'd you say, Pete? He's conditioning him.
There you go.
To do all this bad, stuff, and so Bones is thinking that Mokari has his own game plan going, but it's a solid issue. I really do like the art here, though. Robson Rocha is really starting to settle in, I think, because that scene I was talking about with Ocampo, there's just the way it ends, just a silhouette of her bent over, and you just feel the emotion there.
Yeah, I like the whole entire show. She's Kara doesn't want to be happy, so she's avoiding the dance, but Eliza kind of talks her into it. Everyone's being kind of awkward, and they're intentionally being late with their articles for Kat about Supergirl being maybe bad for the city, because they don't want to slur her name and all the rest of it. There's some real questions. It's really dealing with the idea of can Kara have a life? Is Kara Danvers possible outside of Supergirl? That's really what this arc is getting at. And the villains aren't making it easy, because the villain here that we're not sure who it is, but I'm sure we'll find out next issue. She shows up at the dance, and Kara's there in her dress, and she'll have to disappear, and it'll be really obvious that she's the one disappearing. So
yeah,
so we end in this cliffhanger. Yeah, I mean, I've been digging this arc a lot. I think they've been very consistent issues, and I think mostly it's the characterization for Kara that I've been really liking, and the inner thought. I feel like the dialogue, the voice, Kara's voice, I guess, is really kind of starting to feel kind of confident and nailed. Not the character's confident, admittedly. That's the point. No. The character's not confident at all. But
well, here's another thing. I just pulled up Mokari, and he's a new god. So.
Oh shit.
It's another of these new gods bleeding into the regular DCU. But he's the one that helped start up Cadmus with apocalyptic technology. So
okay.
Wonder if that's gonna pop in.
I can see it, but
the stuff you learn when you wiki things.
I don't know. That's the beauty of the internet. Imagine being confused back in the 80s with comics, and you had no internet to look anything up.
No, and that was the beauty of the comic store, because you had the one guy, I'm sure, in every store, like they did in record stores, that knew everything. So you just go talk to him, and they were the.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, back issues were an even bigger thing back then, so you'd go and hunt down issues. Yeah. That was fun. They'd tell you, this happened in this issue, so you'd go hunting for that issue, and now you just go to Comixology and just get, or just wiki first. But if you want the issue, you can easily get it. I've been digging this art, no surprise. I've been digging it since it started. And I think it's the strongest the book's been. So, with a bit of luck, the new co-writer, when Jody swaps out with the next guy, hopefully that'll maintain quality, or maybe be unique. Maybe she's specific to this arc because she's handling the sort of the teen girl stuff. Maybe the next arc will focus on something else, and that'll benefit the new co-writer. And we'll see how it goes there. But no, so pretty cool stuff. Okay, that'll take us on to New Superman number 19. Not Jean Lune Yang in this. This was a surprise to me when I looked at the front of the issue. In fact, I think you said to me first, actually, before I even got to it. Mariko Tamaki wrote this issue with Brent Peeples on art. Now, Tamaki, I really like from the one thing I've read, which was Supergirl being super back at the start of 2017. She's doing She-Hulk and stuff, I think, over at Marvel, but. No, so I like it a lot from that. So I was like, okay. I mean, it's a fill-in writer, but it's a good writer. So we'll see. It's a Laney Lan issue, focusing on the writer. It's set after the first arc in New Superman, and but before we even talk about the issue, it made sense when I was like, okay, fill-in writer mixed, because Lang thought 18 was the last issue, and then he was told it was continuing. So it makes a lot of sense. He took a bit of time to okay, what's the next arc's going to be, and what we're doing with it. So it makes sense to give him a bit of time and have a fill-in here. So this is Laney Lan, and we get a bit of her personal life. We learn that she's kind of estranged from her parents a little bit, especially her dad, who she's avoiding calling on his birthday, because he lives in the US, and she's avoiding calling him.
I'm kind of wondering why. Like,
yeah,
the mom's like, just call your dad. She's like, I don't want anything to do with him. So you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's just estranged, you know, and it's seeded out throughout. But you really get an idea of her character, I think, better than we have, because she's only really been a side character at best, for Keenan to make a fool of himself in front of, you know.
Yeah, it develops her a little bit. It makes you give a sense of who she is, and then you find out why. Because at first you think, okay, she's just kind of being this, you know, not brat, but like someone who's not really putting her parents first. But then later on you find out why she's kind of dodging him, and it's that he's basically got a secret life in America where he's got a different wife with another kid, and she found out about it. He doesn't know she knows, and she's got this dilemma of like, you know, do I reveal this to my mother? And she's kept it a secret because she just can't bear to do it. And karma's kind of rolled round because she ends up getting saved again by Keenan in the middle of the issue. She goes off to try and like sort of get the story, and she gets in trouble, and Keenan saves her. And she actually invites him and Bakshi out for some ramen. And they're eating, and she's asking him questions, and she's poking at his family life. And she kind of realizes with his responses that he doesn't actually know that Dr. Omen's his mother, but she does. Nope. She does know that. And it's like, oh, do I reveal this? Like, am I basically going to reveal his family secret for him? Like, and it's just giving her this whole dilemma. And then there's some other stuff, how like her boss just wants her to write fluff pieces about technology and apps and, you know, the best videos on the internet.
Because that's what the young people are interested in. They don't care about hard news. And she wants to be a legit reporter. Like, she wants to break this, you know, the ministry of, what's it called? Their self-reliance.
There you go, that's it.
You know, she wants to break this, that someone sent her this information. That's how she figures out Dr. Omen is Keenan's mom. And, you know, and so I thought it did a really good job at her dilemma here, and how conflicted she was of, yeah, the news should come first, but who am I to break this to Keenan when I can't even break to my own mom about my dad? So,
yeah, it sets her up a little bit differently from Lois as well, because obviously before you just she's just the answer to Lois in this book.
Yeah.
But it makes her feel a bit different personality wise. Certainly her boss feels different to Perry, because Perry's all about the hard news. He doesn't want fluff pieces.
Yeah.
Perry's
he never even looks up at her. He's constantly on the phone, and you see that with the little sound effect, tick 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 tick.
Yeah. So it was like, it's funny because that issue could have came at any point. You could almost argue it'd have been better. I mean, well, it couldn't have been after the first arc because we didn't know about his mum yet. It only works now because we know about the mum, but it could have came at any time. It's just it's a nice place to fill it in, but mainly it develops one of the side characters a little bit, which is nice.
And I want to give Tamaki a lot of credit because I thought it was Yang, and I got to the end and I saw it was Tamaki, and there was no change in how the characters are written. Keenan feels like Keenan, Baishi feels like Baishi, and and Lainey feels like Lainey. And in fact, I feel like she's left better than when we, first knew her. So
it's funny, actually. I wonder if she volunteered for this. Like, she knew someone had to fill in, and she's like, "Hey, I'll do an issue on Superman." Or I wonder if DC went, "Do we have any Asian writers other than Lang?"
I don't like to be cynical and think that's what it was. I like to think that she.
Well, especially since she's not the same type of Asian, which I think is
no, she's not.
The point I want to make here is that she, obviously Tamaki's a Japanese name. I think she's Japanese. If I'm wrong in that, apologies, but it sounds Japanese.
Pretty sure she's Japanese American. Yeah. So.
But so that's being a little bit cynical, but regardless, she did a good job, and I think if she wants to be the occasional fill-in, not that I want her just to be a fill-in writer. I would love if she gets an ongoing at DC. I think she would do well with an ongoing character. So
we've seen what she did with Supergirl, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean,
she's actually Canadian. I feel like we've been over this though during being Super, but she's from Toronto, so. Yeah. Anyways, that just came up and surprised me. But yeah, her Supergirl was really well. Now her new Superman.
Yeah, if she takes over Supergirl, maybe at some point would be cool. Or if they give another character a book, give her a shot on them. That'd be cool.
Even Batgirl. I'd like to see what she would do with Batgirl.
Oh yeah,
when Larson's doing.
When Larson is done,
I would like to see what she does with that angle because it's very similar. You look at what she did here with the younger culture, and she seems to have a pretty good grasp on it. I'd like to see...
Give her Wonder Woman.
Or Wonder Woman. Why not?
I'm just thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, Wonder Woman needs a writer.
If I'm the editor of the Wonder Woman section, I go, okay, well, your first job is you have to get rid of Jason in an organic way.
Yeah.
Like, you can have up to 4 issues to do it, but by the end of that first arc, he needs to go.
Yeah, she'd be great on there. So the fact that she was speaking at the panels today, at DC and DC, I hope that means they've got like plans to keep her around on DC stuff for a while, and that she's got a close connection to the company. I hope that's a sign of that. But hey, so no, Superman. Not a whole lot to talk about plot wise. Really, we kind of covered it all, but that was the gist of it. It was a fun, solid fill-in story. It didn't feel like it was like a waste. Because sometimes you get a fill-in, it's like, oh, that was kind of, I could have easily skipped that issue. And
it didn't feel like a fill-in though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You could skip the issue technically, and I'm sure you'd still be able to follow the next story just fine. But like, I think you're better off with the character overall for Laney if you've read the issue. So I think that's a good idea. Let's mention that the little bit at the end that says next time says the Aquaman of North Korea.
North Korea.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about a closed-off country where the culture is completely different, that's perfect, right? Like, if you're going to do an Asian culture Aquaman, much like they did Wonder Woman from Chinese mythology, this is great.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, we know we're getting the core, the Green Lantern core soon as well. They teased that in the last issue, but it's exciting. New Superman is, I've been saying it for the last like 6-7 months, but it's really become one of the more exciting books over time. It's building its own little mythology within the DCU, which is cool. That's great. So before we get to Connor's Corner, I'll talk a little bit about Superwoman. Technically, this is 18, K. Perkins writing and Max Raynor on art, but I'm going to just kind of talk about the last arc, kind of as a whole for the most part, because that's kind of what I read this week. The arc is about a villain named Midnight, which is like a computer, like AI gone rogue kind of thing. And the big cliffhanger, or the big sort of reveal that happens later on in the book, is that it's actually something that came from Ultra Woman. Like, it was the tech that Ultra Woman had that kind of went rogue, and its prime directive is to like do various things and deal with Superwoman and all the rest of it. But it kind of went kind of self-aware and wants to be free. That's kind of its goal, is to become like separate from its goals and separate from Ultra Woman and whatnot. And that's okay. Like, it's fine. Like, the plot works well. I think where this book always kind of excelled was just Lana herself, her supporting cast of like Natasha, Tracy 13, Steel, those types of things. I think the arc before this was generally better. The Smallville stuff and all that, I think, was generally better. Basically, to sum up, kind of the way it ends with her losing her powers. By the way, like she's just Lana at the end of the book, which kind of sucks. I think the final issue is probably the weakest of the arc, unfortunately, mainly because I feel like she probably had to rush the conclusion.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, which is just unfortunate, but it's just kind of how it is, because it ends very abruptly, and she's just like, okay, I'm going to rediscover who Lana Lang is, and that's kind of the end of the whole thing. And she's in a good place with Steel, she's in a good place with the other characters, so that's all fine. But like, most of the final issue takes place in, like, she's sort of trapped inside the virtual head of this AI, and she's kind of like debating with this AI, and the AI kind of merges with her. It's a whole thing. It's, again, feels a bit rushed. It's kind of, I think, looking at the book as a whole though, and like just sort of, because obviously it's one of the first cancellations of the Rebirth, I kind of feel like, obviously we relate the first issue, we liked the fact that Lana was the lead character and that she was getting to do something on her own, and it was great to see her get the limelight. It never really took off to the extent that we really wanted it to. Like, the first arc got really kind of poor really quick, and then it got better with a new writer afterwards. K. Perkins is definitely more consistently solid, but it was never doing stuff that was like mind-blowing or this is a must-read book or anything like that. And as a result, it kind of just, it's one of those books that kind of floundered. But they give it 18 issues, they give it a chance. But ultimately, it's like, I like the concept, I like the idea of Lana having her own book. And it's a shame she doesn't have that anymore, but I can't say that it's the biggest shame ever, either, that it's gone.
No, I'm more shame. I'm more upset that she doesn't have her powers. She was a great addition to the super family.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they could set up. I mean, if they end up turning action into like a Detective Comic style book with the whole family, maybe she'll get them back and be on the team or something like that.
Dang.
But you know, it's a thing. It was okay. It wasn't great. It didn't stand out to me, or anything like that. But it was fine. It's sort of thing where like I feel like it'll just sort of fade into memory, and no one will ever really remember this book all that much. Never had an impact.
I just remember the first 4 issues. I will always just that twist at the end of the first issue.
Yeah. First issue was great. I don't think anything in the book ever lived up after that.
No, I think the writing got more consistent when Kay Perkins came on, but it never had that gut punch moment that first issue had.
I liked that they had her dealing with her own anxiety. I liked how they tied that to her powers. And I almost wish that, like, she got to the place where she didn't need the powers, but they were still there, you know, because she overcame whatever. But I guess that kind of overcuts with Jessica over in Green Lanterns. But, well, yeah, we have two ladies dealing with anxiety, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she is like a reporter now. I say, like, throw her to Daily Planet and have her be in the Lois Lane Daily Planet book by Rocha that's going to happen someday.
Y'all thought I did backflips when they announced Connor. The fact that Rocha answered this question on his Tumblr about doing a Gotham Central style Daily Planet book.
And here's the thing. Because obviously that's an obvious question to ask him. I honestly thought there's like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea. Never really thought about it. Maybe one day, you never know. But I was expecting a non-answer. Like I just thought, oh, that's a cool idea, but like whatever. No. He said, oh, I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and it's probably the closest it's ever been to happening. No time too soon, but I'm hoping it'll happen someday.
Keep your eyes out.
Yeah, it was like, no, I want to do that. That is a thing that is probably going to happen at some point. Like,
So if that positions Lana to deal with Lois, and they both work at the planet, and oh my god, Rucka writing Lombard? Come on. Like,
I want it so bad, Matt. I want it.
Yeah. You and me both.
I want it so
anyways,
bad.
It's a shame about Superwoman, but hey, 18 issues is a long time. By the other company standards, that's an elderly book. Like 18 issues.
You know, it's sad that that's not even just sarcastic.
It's not. It's accurate.
No?
It's weird though. See, when you actually look at the books at Marvel, now it's weird because they all just renumbered, but when you go to just before they renumbered everything back to Legacy numbering, and you see what the highest numbers were, like some of the books that were higher up were kind of weird. It was like Gwenpool was like one of the highest numbered books.
Yeah, I know for I think Star Wars was their highest number.
Yeah.
And that was at like 40? It's just got to like 40 now. Yeah. So when that was in the mid to high 30s.
Before the number change, Mighty Thor had made it up to 24, and that was the highest they had allowed Aaron to get to since God of Thunder 25. And then it went to Thor, and that got like, I want to say 12 issues.
No, it was 8.
And then
8 in an annual, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was only 8. Yeah.
It felt way more. And then this run, that just got renumbered to 700. It's up to 703 now. So... yeah, it's crazy.
It's so weird. I mean, 18's a perfectly good chance, but hey, I feel like when they change the writer, I feel like Kay Perkins is doomed to be the person who comes on a book when it's probably going to be cancelled soon.
She's the John McGinley.
Because
you know,
because they obviously she was on Supergirl in the New 52, and again made that a better book for the last arc, and then it got cancelled. It was like, oh well, okay.
Too little, too late, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
She's clearly good, but not a big enough name to draw in a new audience.
Yeah, honestly, that first arc started strong, but it gets so bad by the time it finished that everyone just kind of abandoned it, and that was the death nail.
Yeah, it was. And I'm amazed it got to 18. Honestly, like we keep saying, from the other company, we'd never expect that. I wouldn't expect that from DC either. Really, I'll be honest. I mean.
I'm glad they did, though. I'm glad they gave it a bit of time.
No, they did.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised because I'm shocked it lasted past 12. I really am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of Marvel books right now that get to a third trade, but there'll be 3 trades of Superwoman. That's
pretty cool.
It is. Yeah.
So, there you go. I mean, I think the current Luke Cage series and Defender series aren't getting to a third trade, and they're both TV shows. that have been recent. Like, that's bizarre. Shouldn't be like that.
It is madness, yeah.
But anyway, so that's Superwoman 18. So that'll take us out to Connor's Corner for the month. Of course, one of our patrons pays for the exclusive right to make Connor read a book of his choosing. And the book that he's choosing, and has been choosing since we started this segment, since he started being a patron at that level, has been Red Hood, continuing where Connor left off after... Because Connor read till the end of the first arc, out of just some weird obligation, and then...
No, you guys were like, I said, I was like, it'd be nice to see him as a team, and you were like, well, now you have to read till the team.
And you listened to us, so it's still on you. So...
Yeah. Well, I couldn't be asked with the shit that you were going to give me. It was easier just to torture myself for 10 minutes a month.
I don't know if it was, but well, anyway. So
alright, well, let's torture yourself for 5 minutes.
Yeah, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 14. Scott Lobdell writing, Joe Bennett on the art, and go on, Connor.
So start of a new arc. This is Bizarro Reborn. Look at that. They were topical.
Right, only 14 issues late, but I go.
Oh boy. They've ruined Bizarro, the one thing I liked. So Bizarro's a genius now. Like this issue opens with Jason and Artemis on jetpacks, going, "Oh hey, Bizarro designed us jetpacks now and a teleporter device."
So cool. He's like Beast from X-Men? Is that what it's basically like? That?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what he's like.
Hank McCoy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly it. He's got that exact same demeanor. But obviously, it's not supposed to be because it's Bizarro. But yeah, they're off fighting Professor Pig.
Oh, I like Professor Pig. That's cool.
Yeah, a very strange meta joke. I think that didn't really land. You know, Pig's like, oh, you know, who even are you? And you know, he's like, oh, you've never met Red Hood? And it's like, in continuity? No. I'm like, ugh, really? Yeah, I mean, even Matt won't appreciate that continuity joke.
Nope. Lobdell doesn't tell jokes. He just throws stuff out there he thinks are funny, but nobody else does.
In comics,
I've seen him do it in person. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen him do it in person, and that's where Greg Capullo threatened to choke him. It was great.
Happy Death Day was pretty good, so I'll give him some credit.
But yeah, it turns out Bizarro has created a big floating ship in the sky that's got their new Batcave.
It's not really a cave if it's floating scabs.
No, I know. It's invisible. It's got like some refractive technology, so people can't see it.
More of a Bat Zephyr, if anything.
Yeah. It's the size of a city block. And they went, when did you build this? And he goes, oh, this morning when you guys were out, I needed the time when you weren't a distraction. Right, okay.
I would only accept that if the Flash was speaking.
He has super speed, right?
Okay, sure. No. Okay, fair enough. Okay, he has not Flash super speed, but he has super speed. Okay, sure.
Yeah. But
how did he pay for the materials?
That's a good question.
It's a lot of material. It's a whole city block, you know?
No, that's a very good question. And the technology is, like, insane. He has this big projection of himself that's looking over things when he's not in the room. You know, he's got, like, all these, you know, the typical Batcave stuff, a room full of Batmobiles, tanks, cars, bikes, you know, all the usual.
Aye, because you want to drive those off the Zephyr when you're in the sky.
Yes, yeah. And they keep pointing out how there's this one door, like, because all this is like, you know, it's super high tech looking, but there's an actual, just like an old wooden door in every room. And they're like, what the hell's that? And it's a doorway to everywhere. It's a quantum translocationalism, is what he calls it. And he opens it, and they're in the Batcave. And then they go through it again, and they're in the fortress.
I don't know why Matt looks more depressed during these Red Hood segments than Connor does, but he does.
I hate having to hear about it.
Do you know what? The way they show it looks like, you know, the way they treat the Tower of Fate.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
It looks similar to that. Is the effect? And Bizarro's just created this morning.
I feel like the appeal to me for a Red Hood and the Outlaws book, you know, assuming I liked Red Hood, would be this scrappy little trinity who get into scrapes. So, you know, this little team, I feel like giving them all this power, like the Justice League with their own boom tube system, like with these doors and all this high tech stuff. I feel like that's against the idea of Red Hood and his team.
Yeah.
Not just me.
So I read enough of them in the New 52, and so at first it was super rough because it was Jason and I didn't care, and they were doing stuff with Arsenal, but they got to this Starfire arc where they reconciled her origin. And she ended up taking over a ship, and they got access.
I remember that, yeah.
To Starfire's ship. So, like, that's where they got all this technology from, and they weren't ever on this level with the Justice League. But my dogs are going nuts. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's very distracting.
They sense Lobdell.
Yeah. So, anyways, they had all access to her. So I understand that, but making Bizarro a genius. It goes against that scrappy ragtag, like Pete was saying.
Yeah.
When it was Starfire's ship, because she was, Tamaranian royalty, and, all the crew of the ship pledged to her, that all made sense to her. And that was the same writer. So what I don't understand.
Yeah. The one positive I can take out of this, because I haven't even got Dexter Sawyer on art. I mean, Ted Bennett's fine, but it's nothing to actually like, oh, that's really nice to look
It's
at.
not rescuing the book maybe as much as it normally would.
It's not. The one thing I have to be glad about is this isn't lasting, clearly, but they actually make that clear at the end of the issue, where Bizarro sits down in front of his big giant green screen, and he looks into it, and there's another, there's another Bizarro in there, and it's not a reflection because he's in civvies. I say he's in civvies. He's in shorts and a top.
Is it the Mirror Universe Bizarro?
He's in Crocs. It's weird. Bizarro is wearing Crocs.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is the genius one. You'd think the genius one would avoid Crocs, but he sits down, he looks into it, and it's still acting like a reflection, but this version is in the Bizarro Superman suit, and. It speaks back in Bizarro speak and says, oh, this I'm not forever, right? And he goes, yeah, I know. So it's like, okay, at least it's going to be over and done within an arc, and we can get back to maybe the Bizarro that I actually like. Maybe.
Joe would make me laugh so much, as if we get to the issue right before he's going to turn back into regular Bizarro, and then David, the patron who makes you read Red Hood, changes his mind and makes you read something else, so you never actually get to Bizarro again.
Do you know what the real problem is? I feel like they're going to take this as an excuse to have some sort of character growth, or whatever Lobdell decides counts as growth. Yeah. But it'll be like, whatever Bizarro we get back won't be the same one that we had before. It'll be this different version that'll be still shit.
Yeah, it'll be classic Bizarro, but he'll have had some progression, so he can do something he couldn't do before. Or something.
Yeah, but they're gonna ruin it. I know he is.
I wouldn't be opposed though if they do this kind of thing where he still speaks like Bizarro, he acts like Bizarro, but every so often he'll just know an extremely hard answer to something. Like he can do like quantum math really easily.
I just want to point out an error in the art here at the end. I said, he's wearing a top, and then he's got and his shorts. Mm-hmm. In the panels before, he's got a jacket on, and he's clearly got no top on underneath it. He's just got shirts and this jacket. He's walking around his base, and fine in his Crocs that are clearly green. And then he goes on the next page, the big full page one where he has this reflection. He's clearly got a white shirt on underneath the thing, some little like a tank top maybe or something underneath it, and then the Crocs are blue. I don't know what's going on there. Some discrepancies that Bennett has to answer for.
I was picking my best cover while you were doing that.
Sorry, I've already got mine sorted. But we can move on from this shit now.
Okay, that's kind of
I will delete it from my mind until I go in about in a month's time, and I go, Pete, what issue of Red Hood am I on?
Yeah, he always asks me, and it's like
I assume you know for some reason. I feel like you should keep track.
I just don't forget. Like that was 14, so you're on 15 next. Remember 15 for next month.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, with that ringing endorsement for Red Hood and the Outlaws, that brings us to the end of the books and onto the final segment of the show, in which we pick our favourite panel/moment from this week, our favourite cover, our favourite art, and of course our top 5 books of the week. So, we always start with best panel/moment. I'm going to take the obvious one, because there's nothing else beating this for me. It's the Dark Side moment from Mr. Miracle. The horror, the absolute horror of him, you know, Dark Side does not do, and it's like Dark Side is. That moment, that final page.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
The feeling it gets from me, the pure dread that fills the book after the happiest moment they've ever had. Fantastic. Love it. So that's my pick. Matt.
So mine's from Tech, and I figured you would have picked this one.
It was a contender. It was a contender.
Yeah, it's where Cass tells Clayface none of the bad stuff he's saying about him is true, and she says, "I don't care, hurt me."
Yeah,
and stands him down, and then it breaks him.
I tell you, almost any other week, Matt, that'd have probably won.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just surprised I didn't go with the Clayface Kaiju, because that's like my jam.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
That I got to that point in Tech, and I was just like, God damn it, they did it. I said this would break me, and it broke me.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm going with Tech as well. I'm going with the other Cass moment, just her, asking to make him better. That one got to me.
Yeah.
Okay. No, all good picks. Can't argue with any of these. Great moments this week. Best cover, Connor.
Wonder Woman.
You know, I was actually picking between Wonder Woman and Supergirl. They were easily the two ones that were sticking out to me. But
I haven't seen the Supergirl one, so.
It's basically like a Carrie moment where she's covered, except instead of blood, it's all green.
Right, let me go and have a quick glance.
It stood out amongst the covers as being like a sort of, prominent image.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm seeing it.
It's pretty nice. But I think I'm going to agree actually and go with Wonder Woman. It's actually a really nice cover. I like how menacing the swan kind of shadow is with the wings coming around. So, give Wonder Woman some love this week. Matt?
Yeah, mine too is Wonder Woman.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Oh, yeah. It stands out amongst the rest of them, like you were saying. So
It does. All right, so best art of the week.
Should we bother?
No.
I just thought, let me look to see if anything even potentially compares. The best, aside from the obvious one, is probably Wonder Woman, actually, with Lupacchino.
No,
I was gonna be that guy and say, but then upon further glancing back over Miracle Man, I do this at least once a week. Mr. Miracle, good lord.
Yeah, no, I got Mr. Miracle a bit late this week because there was the Comixology screw up.
Yeah, it was a hiccup. So, to be fair though, it was fixed within 6-7 hours.
Yeah, but I got all my issues that morning to get to read on the bus.
Okay, and then didn't get that one.
So I was reading all the rest of them, and I read Wonder Woman, and because Mr. Miracle was not there because I was reading all the others, I was like, this has a chance this week.
Actually, can I tell a story about this? I think it's very funny. So if you don't know, on Comixology this week, it's rare this kind of thing happens, but this week, the last 2 pages were missing from the Comixology version. So if you downloaded it and tried to read it before whatever time on Wednesday, 2 pages were missing. As soon as Comixology were aware of this, Tom King was aware of it as well on Twitter, they took down the book. People, obviously the good thing about Comixology is they can just update books. You just get a little prompt to sort of download an update, just like a computer program, and it'll just give you your last 2 pages slotted in. But when this happened, I mentioned we were talking about this on Facebook, and Matt was being all snotty. He's like, "This is why I buy physical books, which are superior."
Yeah. There's never been a printing error, has there?
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, Matt, at least they can update this and fix it. If you get a printing error book, you're screwed." Right? But he was acting all snotty, and then 3-4 hours later, he comes back online. You remember how I was being all pretentious about physical books? Yeah, my shop ran out of copies. I didn't get one.
No, they got shorted. So this happens from time to time.
Okay,
that's because Diamond are the worst.
They are the worst.
And so
this will happen to every comic store every week.
Yeah, and so it happens from time to time in my shop. Usually, it doesn't affect me, but this time it did. And so I had to check it down digitally, and so I would have it in time. So me.
this was the perfect time for it to happen to you, Matt, just so that we could laugh at it.
I wasn't going to say anything, but of course you couldn't let sleeping dogs lie. So.
Oh, no, I was bringing that up. There's no way I was letting that go unsaid on the show. No way. So that was pretty good. But yeah, so... Yeah, that was art. So the top 5 books of the week. So Connor, you can go first. What's your top 5?
I'm only doing a top 3 because I only read 5 books.
Okay.
And I feel
then do all 5!
No, because 2 of them don't deserve to be on here. I don't feel.
Sometimes I want to punch you, Connor.
Go on then.
I know. It's unhealthy that I resort to violence, but it's...
I just feel like a top 5 when I've got 5 is kind of just meaningless. So, just a top 3. Mr. Miracle, obviously. Detective Comics. And then The Flash.
If you were ordering the other 2, though, what would the order be?
I refuse to comment.
I'm not saying they're on the top list. I'm just saying what one was better out of...
I mean...
Wonder Woman in action.
Wonder Woman was probably better, because even though it had that Jason bollocks...
Well, there you go, 4 and 5. Matt,
it doesn't count.
What's your top 5 of the week?
Oh, man. I'm thinking top 5 ways to pummel Connor right now.
Oh, I do that daily, quite frankly. Yeah.
I could use a bat. I could use a hammer. But no. So number 1 is Mr. Miracle. Number 2 is New Superman. No, Tech. Number 3 is New Superman. 4 is Supergirl. 5 is Wonder Woman.
Okay. Mr. Miracle number 1. Detective number 2. It's very similar to Matt's, actually. And I'll put Supergirl at number...
You say it's similar to Matt, so that point's the same as mine as well.
Yeah, but I've heard the rest of his list, though, so I know where I'm going. But Supergirl at number 3, New Superman at number 4, and then... Oh, no, wait, I've missed out Flash. Hold on. Hold on a second.
Oh, Matt, you might
sorry. So, yeah, Mr. Miracle, Detective Comics... The Flash, Supergirl, New Superman. But credit to Wonder Woman, which was better this week. Like I'll give it credit. Sure.
I mean,
Jason
Lupacchino art goes a long way for me.
Jason parts suck. Don't get me wrong, but like I did kind of like the Swan stuff. So credit where credit is due. So there you go. That is our picks this week, which leaves me to tell you what's coming next week. In the old DC Comics onslaught. So next week we have Batman 39, which is the next part of the Super Friends with Joel Jones, Wonder Woman Batman story, good fun stuff. Superman 39's out. Justice League 37's out, Green Lantern's 39, Nightwing 37, Aquaman 32, Batwoman 11, Super Sons 12, which is the finale to the Super Sons of Tomorrow crossover. We have issue 1 of Damage, so we'll be checking that out, obviously. Big issue 1. The first book of the new age of DC heroes, aka Dark Matter, which was a much better title because it was quicker to say, but hey ho. Also out next week, which we will not be covering, is Trinity number 17.
Speak for yourself. This is a new writer, so I might check it because this James Robinson is on Trinity.
Oh, because that paid off on Wonder Woman.
hey, there's no Jason in this book.
Yeah.
No.
There could be. Wonder Woman's there. You don't know who's not going to bring in Jason.
Yes, I do. I just know these things.
Bullshit.
Zurcher on art.
I like Zurcher's art. So.
That's good.
Cool. They're going to Skataris.
Oh, Matt's being tempted. Look at him over there.
No, I'm not. I got way too much to read. Plus, I'm trying to get caught up on all my other stuff.
I concur. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying Damage. We'll see how that is. It is worth mentioning the week after that when Harley Quinn's out. I believe that's
next week.
You sure it's this next week?
I'm looking at the previews right now. It's out next week.
But the last issue was this week.
Was it? Yeah, it was. It's out next week anyway.
That's weird. Okay, fair enough.
There was 2 issues of Harley Quinn this week because you had the.
Well, yeah, one was a one-shot thing though.
Yeah, but by the same team.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird that they're back to back. Then maybe they'll just shift in what week it's on. But okay, fair enough. So Harley Quinn's out, and it's the start of the new run by who was it again, Connor?
Frank Thierry.
Oh wow.
So Connor, I think, is trying it.
Who I've enjoyed.
I might try it. I'm not necessarily wanting a Harley Quinn ongoing to read, but I will maybe try it since it's a new team. I'll see how the rest of the reading goes, and if I've got time and room afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just going to feel like exactly the same, but the last run between that and the New 52 stuff, they had a good 65, 70 issues. So it's been pretty defining.
I think what I'll do is I'll wait until Connor's read it, and he can tell me if it's changed at all.
Yeah, because it might not have. I don't know if they're going for a shift or if they're just kind of continuing the style.
Because I hated the previous issue that I read of it, so we'll see if it's changed. But so there you go. That's what's coming next week, and we'll be covering things and cool. And hopefully we'll have maybe some announcements about Action Comics 1000 and anything else big that's coming in April and the early solicit stuff. So
I'm just looking at the previews. It's insane that Batman White Knight is on its 4th printing next week for the first issue.
The first issue.
And 2 and 3 are getting their 3rd and 2nd printings as well.
That's pretty cool.
And Metal 1's only on its 3rd, so that's... Wow.
They probably printed more of that to begin with, though.
True.
Yeah.
That's my logic. Anyway, so that brings an end to the show. I feel like I had a question I asked at the end last week that I said was going to be a new thing, and I've forgotten what it was.
You definitely did have something, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, that's going to bug me now. What did I say was a new segment at the end, where I asked you guys something?
Ah, what a shame. Kind of been that good a segment if you've forgotten it a week later.
Was it what you were looking forward to most, maybe? I can't remember.
No. We tried that like a year ago, and it didn't land.
Aye, that's fine. You gotta try these things, though, and see if they work. But, I don't know. If anyone liked whatever the new thing was at the end of last week, tell me, and I'll start doing it again. But otherwise, no one will miss it, which is fine. So there you go. That is the end of episode 86 of Comics from the Multiverse. Let us know what you thought of this week's books in the comments and all that jazz. Like, subscribe, the usual things. Rate us on the iTunes or your podcast app and everything else. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/MaileFuzzTV. There'll be a link in the description. There's various perks specific to the Comics Podcast. Of course, me and Cor did a monthly episode. Next week, we should be recording this month, which is going to be Batman Earth 1, Volume 1. We're going to be talking about that.
So, boy.
I think it's just worth noting for the first time, we did hit our first goal on Patreon. So our next goal is actually comic-related, I believe.
It is. We hit $100, which unlocked a movie news show, which me and Cor did for the first time this weekend. If we hit $250... there'll be a monthly show with Tim, who does the horror movie podcast with me, where he's a big Hellboy fan, and the idea is that a couple of us will read Hellboy for the first time once a month. One sort of, because they're all like 4-issue trades, so once a month we'll read a 4-issue trade, and Tim will be with us, and he'll sort of like take us through the Magnolaverse. Which currently the show is titled Comics from the Magnolaverse, which I think is a very nice cross-branding thing. But yeah, so that's a cool thing. Admittedly, we're a ways off of that now. Obviously, we just hit the first goal, but yeah, but that's cool.
But now that that's the next goal, I thought, now you can be aware of that now.
Yeah. If that interests you, of course. By all means, if you actually have ideas for future goals or future rewards on Patreon, there's no harm in shooting ideas our way. We might look at it and go, no, that's never happening. But
yeah, especially if it's something that you'd go, oh, if you did this, I'd definitely sign up. Let us know what it is, and we'll see what it is.
Sure. I think it's just the idea of we could have all the ideas. So if someone has a cool idea, and we say, that one is actually really cool. That's something we could do for a goal, or that's something we could do for a reward. I know one that eventually I do want to throw in there in the bigger sort of price section is like full on sponsorship, where we'll read a little blurb for you in the middle of the episode. That'll be quite expensive though, because that's full on advertising almost. But I have a few of those slots open for the different shows, but down the road sort of stuff. But yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, thanks to our patrons because obviously a lot of the supporters of the comic show specifically got us there, because a lot of people do sign up just because they're fans of this podcast, not because they care about any of the other stuff we do, which is the movies and the TV. They just care about Multiverse, which is fine. That's cool. Which is why we make sure there's goals and rewards specific to.
You'd say they're monitors.
Yeah, we like you guys best.
The anti-monitors, more like. if they're taking Connor's car and making him read Red Hood, the anti-monitor.
That's Dan. Right,
Yeah.
That's his name, right?
No,
Yeah.
David.
Dan.
David.
I am confused. David. That's why I didn't do a Matt's Corner, because people, yeah.
He literally gets a credit at the end of every video we put up right now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Everyone who's watching this video knew that more than Matt did.
Yeah, seriously, they see his name at the end of every single episode.
When your head's full of this much DC Universe minutia, alright, let's cut me some slack.
Minutia? Oh, Matt's getting posh. Yeah. Getting fancy with his wording.
Yeah. I know big words-ish.
English make me speak better good. So that was a Buffy joke, by the way. The hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You're bad.
Wasn't your bad.
I'll be honest. I assumed it was Simpsons. I assumed that was a Ralph Wiggum joke.
No, it was a Xander line from episode 8 of Buffy, which I did the commentary for on Patreon last week, which is why it's fresh in my head.
My favorite Ralph Wiggum is, I think I bit my Wookiee. But he falls. What's a diorama? Oh, man. Love Ralph Wiggum.
I've not watched an episode of Simpsons in like 12.
Maybe
even more than that at this point.
I think I wet my bed.
What's that? I saw it on like season 27 or something stupid like that.
I haven't watched Simpsons in like 5-6 years.
Season too many.
Season 2.
I remember going out of town with a friend. We went to Magic Mountain and we come back and it's on in syndication, and it's an episode I've never seen, and it was from 10 years prior. So that was how much Simpsons
sounds about right.
Yeah, and that was about 2012. So
it's weird that I know for a fact there's more Simpsons that I haven't watched than there is that I have watched, and I feel like I saw a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you watch for 10 years, there's now almost triple that.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's insanity. Like,
although when every Simpsons ever was going on that marathon, it was good just to pop in for a couple hours and then leave.
Yep. Do you know what? But I feel like any good TV show's the sort of thing you might want to go back and rewatch. You know, binge watch it someday. Imagine actually being a big enough fan of The Simpsons that you want to rewatch the entire thing.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Like,
you'd be a very brave man.
Yeah. I like picking my spots, going back, and after I watched Cape Fear, I needed to wash that off of myself, just because that was a grimy movie. So I watched the Simpsons episode that parodies it. So that was like one of my all-time favorite jokes with Homer and Bart with the, "Hey Bart, want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask?" Like, and it was great just to be able to go find that, watch it.
Yeah, you remember these episodes better than I do. I feel like there's very little actual references I could be making.
Oh man, I'll have to post that up to you so you can laugh at that scene, because it's 25 years old. It's literally older than Connor. And it still lands.
Hey, Simpsons is ancient. I am still youthful-ish.
Ish.
I'm youthful where it counts.
Yep. All right, let's wrap this thing up. I got to go up.
We are wrapped up. I did all the outro stuff. I've literally done everything but say goodbye because somehow we went on a Simpsons tangent.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, let's go. Matt's the one who's like, let's wrap this up. Like, Matt, you're the one who's been talking about The Simpsons for the last 5 minutes. So yeah, we're done. So that is us. So thank you everyone. We love you loads. Keep reading comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Connor can't.